devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand. Call
Good evening. Hold on. Why are my levels down so much? Mom, did you touch my mixer? Hang on. Hold up. Hold up. Let me get a 5x5 out there in the world, if you could. Hold up. All right, let me know. Let me know. It may just be my headphones. Can I get some more snare in my headphones? Scoozy. Let me know if y'all can hear me out there. Okay. Okay. Ready. Bingo, 5x5. There we go. Pinto beans with ham and cornbread. Dang, that sounds incredible. 25. Get it? Cause 5x5. Yeah, okay. And is this? Let me fix this level too. All the levels are jacked up. Man, was somebody else doing a show at my place? Goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We have a very exciting show for tonight. Chauffeur. Yo, why is everything what? Everything is on. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We will be touching base on the hoodie. This is perhaps one of the coolest hoodies out there. It actually inspired me to begin a journey of my own hoodie development. And I believe the kids nowadays are saying, "We out here, let's go." So simple, yet so exciting. Let's go ahead and jump in. We have our guest back here already. So, excuse me, I don't want to keep him waiting back here all day. However, we got to start the show by greeting everybody, by saying hello to everyone, and by thanking them for them coming in and spending their time with us, right? Y'all's time is extremely valuable. So, just want to show some gratitude. So, first, what we do is we greet the first person that was in chat because let's be real, the Noti squad out here, Y'all are for real the only ones that I mean, my analytics, it's pretty crazy. Like y'all are the ones that come in and stay in the whole time. And if you guys look at most like YouTubers like analytics or whatever, it usually says like each person has an average viewership of like, 3 to 5 or like maybe 7 minutes. Um on my channel, my average view time is like 58 minutes, which is crazy. It is incredible. You guys, like the DLD crew, totally, like completely just blurs the lines on what like standard engagement is. So I'm grateful for y'all. I appreciate y'all. And we about to get it in. So let's do this. So first off, I want to congratulate Mr. BS himself, or as who was it? I think it was Santi Misfit said Senor Bull Pooper. That beautiful. I may have to take that. I may have to take that. But Mr. BS himself, I appreciate you for being first, my guy. You get a fist bump for being the first one in here. Appreciate you, brother. And let's go through and say what's up to all of our channel members and our mods and all of our folks. Then we'll go back through and say quick hello to everyone else that's joining us tonight. So, second in chat, we all know he was first, was Kurt24, who not only is basically the producer of the show. I'm running this out of his basement. When I take breaks, I run and bring him food and water and stuff like that. And Kurt24, who is also a dedicated channel member, and he's been a channel member for like 2 years. It's incredible. So, Kurt, we love you. We're grateful for you. Excuse me. I'm still getting over a little something, y'all. So you kind of got to deal with it. It's my voice is even more sultry than usual. We also got Come Out in PLA in the building. What's up, Come Out in PLA? Quite possibly the most creative name in all of YouTube viewers. I know. It's a play on words. It's a PLA on words because if you're a 3D printer, then you understand that PLA is the filament that you print and then come out in PLA, come out and play. Like uh remember that movie Warriors? Come out in PLA. Oh, we need to do a skit like whatever. Okay, we'll get back to it. Okay, come out in PLA in the building. Kurt24 in the building. Zanti Misfit, my guy, also a channel member. Appreciate you. And of course, come out in PLA is a channel member. I don't want there to be any confusion there. Kurt24, come out in PLA's Anti Misfit, all channel members. We got Fluffy Bunny Arsenal here. What's up, brother? Also a channel member. Appreciate you, my guy. Let's see, Fluffy, Zanti, hey, Jason Ewing out there. You and Shana member. Appreciate both you guys. Y'all have been channel members forever. And man, I feel for you guys out there going through it in certain states where certain rights in certain places are getting certainly encroached on. And I gotta say, like, hey, when do people start? Sorry, that was redacted. You know, I muted, right? Okay. I'm sorry for you guys out there dealing with some drama. We just beat some drama in Virginia, bro. And look, had it not been for the governor literally vetoing like nearly 40 anti-pew bills, we would have been in they would have been in some serious trouble, you know what I mean? But dude, it's crazy, man. It is a crazy fight. It is not getting any easier, and now they're doing it on a macro scale and a micro scale. They are zoning into particular areas that are heavily concentrated with free thinkers like us, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So keep your head up, bro. Okay. It all this craziness makes me want to make a lemonade stand of Washingtonian high capacity mags and just give them out for free. But of course, I would never break any laws, rules, regulations, restrictions, sanctions, ordinances, and other things like that, because the only way they can control you is with fear of incarceration or death, and that's how we're here. Anyway, great to see you guys. Jason, yoing, great to see you. He also gave member chat member for 16 months. For the Spanish speakers out here, that's DACET. Gracias por tu tiempo esta noche. Don't forget to thumbs up everyone. Dang, he used his member chat for him to remind y'all to do something for the channel. That's gangster. Yo, I appreciate you, Jason. Man, you and Shauna are the best. Appreciate y'all. Grateful for both y'all. We got T for Tejas in the building. What's up, brother? Great to see you, man. Another super bass dude that's just out here, just living the dream. Love it. Let's see, Shauna Memba. Great to see you as well, Shauna. You guys are awesome. Let's see, T for Tejas. I'm just going through y'all. Be easy. Oh, Johnny Propane, my guy. Great to see you. Appreciate you coming and hanging out as well. He also is a Chena member. Let's see who else we got here. We got Zanti Misfit. We got T for Tejas. He says, "Let's go." Love it. Let's see. Pedal faster. Yo, great to see you. If you guys don't know, I am rocking the Safety Harbor Firearm hoodie. This thing is probably one of the dopest hoodies in existence. If you like dope modern stuff and also love milsurp, this is like I'm not showing it in its best. Here's what I would say. Excuse me, if anybody out there, if one of the mods out there can actually drop the link of this hoodie on safetyhaba .com, uh y'all need to actually like see it. If you haven't seen it, this thing is like an incredible hoodie. It is a German rain pattern. Okay, it's got cargo pockets for the yeah, this ain't gonna work. Sorry, y'all. It's my streaming situation is like 6 feet up in the air. Um, anyway, you need to actually look at it. So if Kurt24 or one of the homies out there could drop a link, then take a look at it because man, this doesn't even do it justice. It is the perfect blend of like dope modern milsurp fused together for a super thick, comfortable, warm, and low key gangster hoodie. And it's I think last time I saw it was on sale as well. So show him some love. Walt is also a master chef behind the firearm uh, machining. If you guys haven't seen Safety Harbor Firearm, the SHTF 50, the KES, the compact entry stock, the KEG. I don't know. Are you still doing the 12 gauge? Either way, check out Safety Harbor Firearms. If you don't at least spend 5 minutes on his website tonight, I'm going to know, and I will find you, and I will kiss you. Zanti Misfit, T for Tejas, Lightning McQueen. What's up, brother? Great to see you. Also with Chinamemba. Appreciate you, my guy. Zanti Misfit. Hey, Taco Syndicate. What's up, brother? Great to see you. Call 911 Namakila. Appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out. Taco Syndicate, Zanti Misfit, Lightning McQueen, Fire Rodder. What's up, brother? Fire Rodder. Great to see you. Man, you guys are awesome. Appreciate y'all. Lightning McQueen, Wired Tight. Also with Chinamemba. Appreciate you. And can I get a drum roll, please? If you like the dopest weapon lights of all time, if you like to confuse your neighbors and make them think that the police, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Guys, the one, the only Goombeam is in chat, chilling with us tonight. And I know, if you are even interested in the best flashlights in the business, go click the link in the description, use code DARK. You're going to save a bunch of money. And also, you're just helping out and supporting a super base dude. Show Goombeam some love, man. I've been seeing a crazy amount of orders go through. Goombeam, you're the man. You make incredible products, and not all of his flashlights are blue. I just happen to have all the white lights. I got a IR light right here. Hey, oh, dang, that is. Oh, this is the bright ski. This is the bright one. Well, let's see. I got another one here. Oh, that's also blue. Okay, let me check this. This is a pistol light. Oh, that's also blue. I literally got like a dozen goon beams. If y'all don't, what are you doing? You know, Kurt24, just want to say we love you again. Zanti Misfit, Lightning McQueen. Hey, Murphy's Law. What's up, brother? Also with Chanamemba. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. I know you don't always make it to the show, so thank you so much for coming in and making it to the show. Taco Syndicate, Zanty Misfit, Fire Rider, and the 2A boys. Yo, 2A dad, I so owe you like 5 calls back. I'm sorry, I promise I don't mean to be a dirtbag on purpose. All right, let's hurry up and get through so we can get to our guest coming in today. Lightning McQueen, was I taken down? Hold up. Yo, I totally froze. I'm frozen. I'm frozen in time. Yo, but for real though. Yo, okay, hold on. Give it a second. Okay. Something happened that was crazy. I guess we're still here, right? Yeah, still almost 50 people in here. Okay. Lightning McQueen, Jeff Cron, brother, great to see you. Also with Chinamemba. He says, let us not forget the lady in the red dress. Snow talked about the did I miss something? I don't know. Goonbeam, shout out again. We love you. Taco, send a kit. Hey, Mike McClune, the goon. What's up, brother? Great to see you. Murphy's Law out here. All my Gucci Glocks were stolen. What? Are you for real though? Goonbeam, Taco Syndicate, BV Luminous. What's up, brother? Great to see you. Um, oh, that woman in a red dress. Yes, yes. Yeah. He designed her. What was his name? He died anyway. Doesn't matter. It was yeah. Jeff Cron, let's see, Murphy's Law, Jeff Cron, Fire Rodder. Let's see who else we're missing here. Hold up. Santy. Big Drew, what it do? Great to see you. I know we rhyming out here. I need to go through and actually see how to make Drew a Chana Chanamemba faux life. Maybe I can get you like a DLD tattoo or something like that. Scoozy. Okay, Taco Syndicate, BV Luminous, Jeff Cron, Mike McClune, The Goon, Fire Rider. Here he is, JC Neener, way cleaner, Dark Raindrop Sweater. Nice. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Let's see, Lightning McQueen, Kurt 24, Carbon Q. Hold up. Why is Carbon Q not a mod, bro? Are you serious? What? Did I do that? Did I do that? Hold on. And I know I got my man back here just chilling, looking at the phone like Dark. Come on, what are you doing, dog? I know. Forgive me. I always got to do the intro. Do you know how many people tell me, like, Dark, bro, you don't have to greet every single person by name? And I was like, what the did you just say to me? You know? Hold on. Okay, let's see if that works. I cannot believe that Carbon Q has not been a mod this long. Call 911. Amakila. All right, hold up. Oh, and look at that. I must already be demonsterized. Okay. Carbon Q, we love you. Carbon Q, put user in timeout. Oh, I'm not logged in as DLD After Dark. Hold preach. Guys, I know it's crazy. The fact that you'll just sit here and wait. I know, it's nuts. Hold preach. No, don't switch account again. Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Still okay. Yep. Would you look at that? Already demonstratized. Standard moderator. Omelette du fromage. Okay, here we got Carbon Q, who is now a moderator boo, and Taco Sende Kit, JC Neener, BV Cleaner, Jeff. Hey, bro, Jeff Cron just gifted 5 DLD After Dark channel memberships. Bro, I appreciate you. Actually, you did that like 13 minutes ago, but thank you so much, Jeff Cron. You, my good sir, are the man. You are a what's it called? Gentleman and a scholar? Yes, you're a gentleman and a scholar. And I would like to say, for all the people out there that don't know what it's like to have your name spoken aloud in the beginning of every DLD After Dark stream, for the people that did, when the lotto here. Let's see. All massages, all massages. Oh, I can't even see. For real? Come on. Come on, baby. Gifted, but yeah, I can't even see who didn't. If you guys can see, shout out to the people that were gifted memberships from Jeff Cron, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Drew, what it do? Murphy's all here too. Taco Syndicate coming through. Jeff Cron, ooh ooh. Let's see. JC Neener. Joe Morris, my guy, also a channel member. You've been here since the beginning, my guy. I appreciate you. Tanner, yo, my guy Tanner, aren't you the one that joins Clint's live streams as well? I appreciate you. Hang tight. We'll get started in a minute. Thanks for coming and hanging out. By that I mean Clint with Classic Firearms, who is a friend of the channel. Yo, and Kurt, bro, Kurt 24 just cashed at me $25. What? For what, bro? We didn't even get started yet. Yo, thank you so much, Kurt, man. Man, I don't know what I would do without y'all, man. I appreciate you, my guy. And what was it? What did it say it's for? Um, for glowies. Hold up. Hold up. I need to see what it is. 911 Namakila. Glowy's dues. Oh, dude, you are too funny. You've well paid your dues, man. You've overpaid. I think I need to issue a tax return on that. I don't think I can joke about that. Anyway, bro, I appreciate you, Kurt 24. You're the man, my guy. Thank you, thank you, all you guys. Baptized in Fire, also a channel member. Appreciate you, my guy, and I hope everything is going well for you. I know, we had to set up a give send go for you. His house burnt down, man. It was a lot. It was a lot, and I hope that money was able to help you a bit. And I hope you're doing okay. Hope you're doing okay. Chuck Norris Gun Club, what's up, brother? One of our crazy espionage mods. I appreciate you. Joe Morris, Jeff Cron, Kurt 24, ANRF, the ATF. Facts. Bless you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your donation of effing the ATF. Hey, Man Against the Masses is now a channel member. Thanks for the meme material, Dark. I don't know what I gave you, but you're welcome. All gun laws are unconstitutional. In facts. Man Against the Masses, Jeff Cron, Lightning McQueen says free CRS. You know, man, miss you, Matt. Love you, Matt. I was talking to Erica last night. Last night? Yeah, I think last night actually. Scoozy, me scoozy. Man Against the Masses, Jeff Cron. Not my name. What's up, brother? Great to see you. Any other channel members sound off, so I make sure that I don't miss you. It's great to have all you guys. Jeff Cron, Carbon Q, our newest moderator. Appreciate you. Kurt 24, Drew, what to do? Mike McClune, JC Neener. Let's see. Ron Bayer, what's up, brother? Also a channel member. And of course, Barton Fink, also a channel member. Man, we need that camo color with Sleepy Roofers for the lines. So, guys, happy Sleepy Roofer Day, okay? Because it is 420. And yesterday was actually the 250-year anniversary of Lexington and Concord. What? Crazy, right? How can it be so close together? It's just constant revolution. And then homeboy decided to turn himself into an ashtray to try a anyway, we'll move along. JC9, let's see. I heard visiting Safety Harbor's website will help you win the lottery. This is true. This is proven to be factual. Shout out to CloverTech. Thanks for coming in and hanging out, bro. Taco Syndicate, Lightning McQueen. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Fluffy Bunny, my guy. Great to see you. Also a channel member. Ed Zachary, a channel member. Not my name. Channel member. Goombang. You got your Goombang. Whoa. Okay, hold on. I don't want to say your name if it's your actual name, but somebody just sent me $6.90. Nice. 69. You get it. But I don't want to say I think I remember who it is, but it's just a lot to keep track of up here, y'all. Do me a favor and shout out in chat to who sent the $6.90. I think that's come out in PLA. they cash app the $6.90. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, my guy. If not, sound off in chat. Let me know. DB, my guy, also one of the thorough ones. G23, one of the thorough ones. Y'all get the honorable mentions. Carbon Q, even though she's the newest mod, she's a thorough one. Excuse me. Tim Hoppa, my guy, great to see you. Let's see, Taka Center. Slim223, what's up, brother? Great to see you. Honorable mention, Eagle Run 23. Yo, if you don't go check out Eagle Run 23's channel right now and subscribe, you're getting in trouble. Also, go check out Texas Parks Outlet Coffee and maybe use code DARK and get some of the best, freshest coffee in the United States of Embarrassment for a good deal. We got Bob Masovo in chat as well. What's up, brother? Also with Chanamemba. And all you guys in here, if I missed you, I apologize. We got to move quick. I'm making my guest wait entirely too long. He could have made a baby in the time that we were here saying what's up to all you guys. But that's one thing I'll never stop doing. I'm gonna say what's up to every single channel member out here, and I appreciate you guys. Bob Musavo, Vulcan, what's up, brother? Snape 1337. What's up, bro? Safety Haba, DJ Play Nice, DB, and all the homies. I appreciate you guys. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it started because we're about to bring our guest on in one moment. I just want to give you guys a quick commercial break, just for a moment.
This shit's gonna blow up.
No, it won't blow.
All right, for sure.
You gotta love that. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that I thought I was going to talk about this evening, we'll probably talk about thousands of different things. And no, I'm not talking about all the people that are ordering from DLD hardware getting DLD Skittles. Okay. Is it weird if I make individual bags of DLD Skittles? I don't know. You let me know. I would eat them, but I'm a weirdo. I made them, and I'm making them clean. I'm only pouring them. I'm not touching them. And who would touch them? That's so weird. I dropped one on the ground, threw it away. That's what we're supposed to do. And sealed them up in these little DLD bags. And I was like, that's cool, right? But then somebody is gonna be like, ew, someone touched these and threw them in the bag, and I don't want them if it's not sealed up and the Skittles bag. I don't know. I think it's dope, but I don't know. Someone's gonna say something. So what I was thinking about is keeping a long gun with you. Okay, the classic. I got a CHOPPA in the car. Okay, and hoop. I forgot about the AI. When you do stuff like this, the AI comes in and is like, "Oh, let me rock with you." I know it's crazy. Oh, and the newest one I learned is this. I know it's adorable. And the best person that I thought to have on the channel talking about these kinds of things is your boy, who is the Wikipedia of insulting. Your boy, JoVa Q. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
Woo! Let me adjust this mic. It's just a little loud. Hold up. It's
How you
not
doing? How's everyone doing, man?
good, man. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Good, man. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out. It
Hey,
is
no worries,
always
man. Anytime, man.
dude, it's an excellent time with you. Every single time we've had you on the show.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, you are a um, highly credentialed individual, and of course, you're going to say, I'm just a dude." But the conversations we have about equipment is incredible, and actually, the views are like crazy when we do stuff together. So, just before we jump into it, if you could let everyone know kind of who you are, what you do, your history, and
Yeah, like I said before, I spent a lot of time in the military. I like firearms. I like guns. I like a lot of stuff. I like to do a lot of research and understand the how and the why. So that way, when I sit down and say something, um, it's not an opinion. It's like, hey, here's all the data. And
yeah.
again, if you ask me where it's at, I'll give it to you. I'll show you where it's
Mhm.
at. But with that being said, I just have one issue. I can't respond to people in the chats because someone has blocked me, DLD. No,
Oh
like,
yeah,
what was that, man? He blocks me from his channel, but he has me as a guest and calls me up.
I know, right? Can
He's
you
like,
believe it?
"Hey, Q, man, these guys got a deal on some ammo." I was like,
Yeah,
"All
that is
right,
funny. I
that's
do because
awesome, man."
I
Is
constantly hit him
YouTube
up. I'm
wild
like,
or what, man? Is YouTube
yeah.
what?
Dude, it is crazy. I think so. Going and looking through, like, if anyone's like blocked on the channel, I can actually go in, click, and I can look at every single person that's blocked. And it's happened to other people before. And I'll eventually like find them and be like, oh, here it is, unblock them. I think it may have been YouTube
Yeah,
because
I was just gonna say YouTube hates me, man.
yeah,
I posted something yesterday on IG, and one person responded, and I got the hey, you violated our community standards. You're trying to sell midgets and pygmies, and you got dogs sleeping with cats. I was like, oh no,
oh,
I
it's so
don't.
wrong. It's
Yeah,
so wrong.
and again, like I said, I apologize. Can you hear me? Because I'm outside.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you well.
Oh,
Actually, it
really?
was
Okay,
crazy, like,
all
the
right.
mic was picking you up like crazy. I had to adjust
Let
it, but
me
it's,
all right. Let
good.
me turn down my stuff.
Oh, you're good. I adjusted it. You're
All
you're
right, cool.
perfect now.
Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Again, my apologies to people in the chat. Um,
Let me
I
see if I can I'm gonna go back through real quick, see I'm
brother,
not
don't worry
blocking
about it.
people.
Hey, the whole deal with the Skittles, I'm digging out because my whole plan, if everything goes crazy, I got like
Mhm.
2 55-gallon drums of Skittles. I'm just gonna start capping people
Bro,
like
that's
Taste Rainbow.
That's all you need. That's all you need. Yo, there was a time where those like metal 55-gallon tins or
Yeah,
drums or whatever. You used to be able to purchase 55-gallon drums, like the metal drums of ammunition.
yeah. You
Um,
you can still do it. You still have them occasionally, and it's something like 14,000 rounds of 5.56 in them.
yep.
You
It's a
know.
weird number. It's like 14,160 or something like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, yes, we filtered up our weight, so it's guaranteed to be at least 14,000.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. I just gotta love America. Yeah,
Dude, I used to see like my boys all the time that would be getting barrels of 5.56, and I'm like, man, like I always wanted to get a barrel, and as soon as I started stacking up ammo like that, I was like, man, I want to throw that on a barrel with like the homies and get the barrel. I just want the
yeah,
barrel. But they're a little more difficult to come by, I guess,
yeah.
nowadays.
Occasionally you'll see them. Some companies will have them and everything else, and next time I see some, I'll push my way. But
Oh,
it's just hard to move. Like
yeah,
if
yeah.
you have to go through and move it, it's just a pain in the butt to move it.
Yeah.
Ammo is heavy.
Yeah,
So
I don't see you in here at all, bro. That's crazy. I
yeah,
said
don't worry about it, man. They can't stop us. They ain't gonna shut us down.
I know. Actually, I don't know if you've ever seen the dude out here. Usually you see him in chat as P38 Wilbur, but he actually had been a viewer of the show for RIP 7.62 by 25. Um, he actually was a viewer of the show for like 2 years or something, and just out of nowhere was banned, blocked, and he never said anything too spicy. But of course, YouTube and other platforms generally have different perspectives than we do. And he had to literally, I couldn't find him anywhere. I didn't say that I blocked him, but no one could see him anywhere. And literally had to make an entirely different account just to be able to come in and chat. It's crazy. As much as it sucks to say, I think that's what'll have to happen for you to come back through and
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's no worries because I still watch your chats and everything else, and I
yeah.
still comment even though I can't see them, but damn it, I'm commenting either way. I'm an American. You can't tell me what to do.
Right. And you'll
But
be
yeah,
like texting me like, "Yo, consider this, think about this, remember from this perspective." I'm like, "Dang, that's what's up."
yeah, no, and don't want to be a pain in the butt, man. But
You're good.
I got a new computer, so now I can look stuff up and everything else while I'm still on my phone. It's like,
Nice,
yeah,
nice. That's
So,
what's up,
yeah,
man. Hell
like
yeah.
fuck, I was wrong.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's going on? What you want to talk about? Huh?
So I was kind of thinking about, last time we chatted, we were on a live stream with Integrity and Dust and you and some others kind of came through there. And we were talking about, like a lot of times if I'm going out to my car, I'll just grab my little bag with my MP5 in it, which would leave me considerably outgunned in certain situations. The caliber leaves some to be desired. Sometimes I'll grab my 10.3, sometimes I'll grab my 14.5. But if I'm trying to keep a long gun, and I would even say a sub gun or a long gun in the car, I wanted to kind of evaluate like what are our best options for keeping long guns in the car, caliber wise, size wise, because some long guns like keeping a 20-inch 300 PRC with a 10 by a million scope in that, or 1 to a million scope in that thing, like it's just not realistic. Shout out to all the other channel members that are coming in, DB Cooper, Fat Gray Man, all you guys. I appreciate you guys. I think I saw some other ones too, but kind of evaluating long guns, keeping long guns in the whip and all that.
Yeah, I know. And that's a good question. I would say some things to consider is, where you're going. Are you going out west, Midwest, where you have long distances, where again you would like to neutralize a threat sooner rather than later, or are you just kind of tooling around in the city, and what type of vehicle?
Yeah.
If it was up to me and I had my choice, I would really get a Toyota Hilux with a Dishka or a minigun on it. I mean,
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
shit. Hey, you win. But since we can't do that yet, um, I would say depending upon what your setups are. If you're heavily into 5.56 platforms and rounds and ammo,
Hmm.
um, kind of consider something like a 10.3. Something between like a 10.3 and 11.5 or 13.9,
Hmm.
5.56, because you have maneuverability. Um, you have a good standoff distance with the proper ammo and with proper training. You can push that platform effectively out to 400 plus meters.
Yeah.
Uh, you also have the options of the some companies make the side folders for them where you
Yeah.
can compact it down. One of the problems with some companies side folders, you can't fire it in a side folding configuration.
Yeah.
So
Or you can fire it
once,
once.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so now you can get into your piston driven platforms where you can fire them, side folded configurations, put a brace on it if you don't want to SBR it, if you're traveling across state lines, because filling out the paperwork and getting the permission to temporarily export and travel across state lines becomes a pain in the junk. And
Yep.
you might stop in some place where just all the hassles that go along with it. As far as caliber, I would really say again that's really going to be like a personal preference and how your ammunition situation is.
Mm.
Me personally, I really prefer. I'm really fond of 6.5 Creedmoor and 12.5 to 13-inch barrel length.
Mm.
I'm sorry, not 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 Grindle.
Grindle. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's still in the AR-15 platform. It's light, it's maneuverable, and it hits hard. You know, it
Yeah.
it hits hard.
I haven't ventured into to the really any of the 6.5s. I've ventured into like some of the 6.8s in the past,
Yeah,
but 6.5 is dope because, like you said, it's still AR-15 platform. But you're right. I mean, the literally the first thing you said in response to the question was perhaps the most important thing when you're looking at this, and usually people don't. I mean, in most cases, when I talk to people, they're just like, yeah, I just keep my 10.3 with me, but
20 Grindle.
it depends on it depends on application. Where are you going? What are you doing? And are you going to the city, the suburbs, or the country? And if you're going to the country, having a little bit of a larger platform that isn't as easy to stow, but you know that you can reach out to, at least 300-400 yards without even stretching its legs. That's that's the way to go. But if usually when I grab like my MP5, I'm going in the city to suburbs kind
Yeah.
of kind of thing, because I know that I'm usually looking at 100 yards and in. Usually I say in that kind of situation, anything beyond 100 yards is murder. So it's hard to say you're defending yourself. It depends, right? But in most cases. And I don't think pistol caliber carbines or subguns are useless. I think they are useful in some situations. And we got a shout out to the AK platform, 8-inch suppressed. Yep, that's a good
Oh my
option too.
God, man, that is just wow. About we'll touch on that one. We'll touch on that. Suppressing 760 by 39 and the AKM platform and
Hmm.
barrel length and everything else, and some of the problems with it. They're not really problems if you understand what it can do.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely correct. Like some of your PDWs, personal defense weapons, and those just aren't MP5s and stuff like that, because really anything is a PDW, and we've defined that as small, compact pistol caliber weapons.
People used to call the Mark 18 CQBR a PDW
Yeah,
before PDWs got like
yeah.
this big, but
So
anything can be a
yeah,
personal
so
defense
if you
weapon.
remember back to the MP5K model, and that was designated as MP5K PDW, right? And that was back in the
Yep.
80s and 90s. So
Yep.
uh, that term's been around for a while. And you touched on a very, very important aspect, which what I wasn't thinking of. If I get out
So,
with a Mark 18, 10.3, 10.5 inch to a 13-inch 5.56, right? Now I
mhm.
have to take into consideration, how can I carry that? So no matter what I
Yep.
put it in, if I take it apart and put it in the bag, now I have to take time to put it back together before I can bring it into operation.
Yep.
So one of the advantages of having something like an MP5 is it's all ready to go, and you are not going to look out of place carrying it in a briefcase and a messenger bag or anything like that. Whereas we've seen, some of the press stuff where the president was out jogging or riding a bike, and you seen his PSD there, and you can identify who had the long guns because they had
Yep.
them in 511 covert bags, which
Yep.
not unless that's a fucking oxygen pump or a heart monitor, that's a long gun.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it a lot of considerations where if you have to leave your vehicle and carry that weapon with you, how can you be incognito? So
Here, keep going. I'm gonna grab some.
for most places. Yeah, Drew in Oregon, that's correct. You can find 5.56 most places, um, but you have to balance those needs and everything else, because the whole concept of having a truck gun is you're still going to have enough ammunition to do what you think you got to do and get out of there. Like, again, I don't want to stand in a prolonged, protracted fight, because you will run out of ammo at some point. When we think about what just happened last week with everyone blocking the bridges and blocking the entrances to places like that, um, that's one of those things. I'm not going to get out and fight. I'm trying to blow through the ambush. I'm trying to blow through the blockade and everything else.
Man,
You know?
I can't find it. So I got one of those triangular shaped messenger 511 bags.
Yeah.
Dude, they're great for, like, right here on my floor is a SIG 5.56 10.5-inch piston driven with a side folding stock SBR. And for something like that size, it's great. Anything beyond like that 16-inch, you know, broadly, like 16-inch ish platform, you're gonna have to take it down anyway, right? And for you to that bag is cool because it's on your back, it's got a singular strap across you grab it, pull it up, grab the Velcro tab, rip it down, and you just take it out and go to work right away. For little PDWs, for smaller guns like that, especially piston driven with a side folding stock or brace or whatever, it's perfect. For even my 10-3 with the standard buffer style system, I got to break it down, which is a huge inconvenience. So I do like that piston driven setup.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the chat, and A by R A or AXR. He
Mhm.
put guitar case and everything else, right? And that's great. If you're walking around in a place where, after they block the bridges in San Francisco, you're walking around with a guitar case. That's cool, but just keep in mind that guitar case gets heavy and it's cumbersome and everything else.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to have something I can throw on my back, I can sling over, I can blend in and look nondescript. Because if you see me walking around with a guitar case, you're probably going to think Hootie and the Blowfish is doing a reunion. You know,
Yeah.
um, and I can't play guitar to save my life. So you have some options. One of the things is, and this, my preferred thing, if I have to get out of my vehicle and start walking and start doing everything else, because whatever happened, I got a flat tire, and whatever, I have to
Mhm.
leave the vehicle. I am really fond of the 300 Blackout, in
Yeah.
particular the Sig Rattler,
Oh yeah.
because it's nice, it's compact, and once you get a good understanding and feel of it, you can engage targets out to 300 with supersonic 300 Blackout. Also, it's really really easy to suppress, and once you add a
Yeah.
decent suppressor on it, the overall length comes in at one of those things where I can still put it in the backpack, I can put it in the messenger
Mhm.
bag, I can put it in the gym bag. You won't look out of place with it.
So straight up, and this is going to be a bold claim, but hear me out, y'all. This is from somebody that's been carrying a gun for nearly 2 decades, most of that lawfully. The I would literally keep. I don't know if y'all remember when that Rick Ross song "I Got a Chopper in the Car" came out, dude. I had my AK on my back seat, like that was just it was the jam. But also, it's like. I mean, in even though it's kind of cheesy, like hood stuff, like the chopper has always been like the most revered. Like, if someone gets out with an AK, it's like, yo, like it's party time. It is a bad day. Run, run, run. Doesn't matter. Everyone could have handguns. If one dude with a chopper with an AK, it's always had that status of intimidation because I mean, in 8 to 12 inch 7.62 by 39, the amount of damage that can do. No, it's not going to punch through every armor plate. No, it's not going to, it, but the amount of damage that can do is incredible. However, with all of this stuff we're talking about here, with calibers, barrel length, what is the specific job? What is the um, shout out to all you guys, Big Easy, Philly Slow, all you guys, Damian Christ, appreciate you all being here. Too many choices, brother. Great to see you. The Draco, bro. My Chrome Draco with the plum furniture was like in my back seat more often than my wife was. I'm just saying, it's like,
So let me address something real quick. G23 Road to 300 Black is just a wannabe by 39. I'm going to go on an assumption he's talking about 762 by 39
yeah,
cows for press. So one of the things that's people don't understand about 762 by 39 is, in the wild, 762 by 39 was never designed to be suppressed. It was designed back in,
yeah,
oh shit, man, when they came out with that round, it was before World War II, actually.
yeah. It was in
So
the 30s.
yeah, so now you can get subsonic 762 by 39. The one of the issues with suppressing the AKM platform is your ammunition. Like to get that thing to run suppressed and everything else reliably, and to get the good accuracy and everything else, you got to get some of the fancier ammunition, some of the subsonic ammunition. Because remember, by nature, that round is supersonic. So
Hmm.
it's just like the problems with 5.56 suppression, right? Everyone's like, oh, this can's loud, it's like this. When we suppress 5.56, we're not really doing it for sound suppression. We're doing it for signature reduction.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have to understand. Again, 7.62 by 39 platform, trust me, that is the McDonald's of, uh, you know, assault weapons, intermediate rifle caliber cartridges, and everything else.
Yep.
One of the inherent problems you have is with their accuracy. One, they bleed velocity. It's essentially launching a brick. It's not the ballistic coefficients of them is not very good. A lot of ammunition you find in 7.62 by 39 isn't true Soviet spec, meaning that it's not a .310 bullet. It's a .308 bullet because I'm cheap and we don't know the difference. However, I wouldn't want to get hit with a spitball.
Yeah.
That being said, so
Night Strike, what's up, bro? Good to see you.
uh,
He said
No,
7.62
the AKM 47 was designed during World War II by Kalashnikov, and he was actually a tanker. If you look it up, because the parent case of the 7.62 by 39 is the .220, which is also the parent case of the 6.5 Grindel. Here, let me grab my phone real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking it up too.
And I would pull up the manual and everything else, but I don't want to lose you because I don't have dual screens down here. But I'm not going to get into that argument. But I will send you Night Strike. If you contact me, I'll send you the history of that round.
Wasn't there other rifles prior to the AKM
The AK-47? Yes, that fired that
chambered
round.
in 7.62 by
Yes.
39?
Yes.
Wasn't the I know originally the STG-44, the Sturmgewehr, was in 8mm Mauser, but wasn't there a
7.92 by whatever?
Yeah.
What?
Wasn't there also a 7.62 by 39 variant as well? Or am I tripping?
I'm not sure because I'm not sure if my memory serves me correct. I don't know if the Soviets captured some of them and converted them simply because they didn't have the 8mm Mauser ammo. But during World War II, there was a lot of that stuff going on. Like even when the Nazis captured, when they rode through Belgium and they captured FN's factory, they took their stuff and rechambered some of their pistols and everything else.
Okay, there's an STG-45. I guess that's chambered in 7.62 by 39.
So your STGs are your STG-44, your Sturmgewehr 44, and the Sturmgewehr 43. I want to say, and then the STG-45 might have changed their caliber, but don't quote me on it right now.
Hey, thank you, Carbon Q. Big Easy says you're correct. 43, 44, 45. And then, of course, Too Many Choices says yes in the SKS. Yeah, weren't there Tula SKSs like in the 30s as well? Because I always think of like the early 40s when I think of 7.62 by 39. But here's the important thing though. So I have an AK that I have set up for suppressible, whatever. But here's the deal. It's always going to be supersonic unless I'm using, specific subsonic ammunition, and that doesn't always run the bolt, right?
Yes.
What the 300 Blackout had done, and I'm not a 300 Blackout head. I don't even currently have any 300 Blackout at all, right? Which I'm, planning on changing that very soon. But the thing that the 300 Blackout did so well was prior to the existence of the 300 Blackout, there was essentially 5.56, there was 6.8 SPC, there were some other cartridges here and there, but for the most part, you could not have a setup in an AR platform rifle at that time that was a intermediate rifle cartridge like 5.56, 6.8 SPC with you either could only have supersonic rifle cartridges suppressed, or you could have subsonics that wouldn't run your bolt. So what the 300 Blackout did so well, and even just something as simple as switching to faster burning pistol powders, and and all the creative things that they used, you had a suppressible 300 Blackout that would run the bolt in subsonic, which is at the time was unheard of. You couldn't do that. So it was a game changer at that time.
So actually, your 300 blackout as we know it now, 762 by 35, right, or 300 whisper. The history of it is a guy named JD Jones. A lot of wildcatters, they'll go and they'll do stuff and everything else because like they got money, time, and the talent to do it. Um,
And they'll not
yeah, the so you had 300
copyrighted.
fireball, you had 221 221 300 fireball, everything else. That was like the wildcatter days, right? So there was an organization that had issues and it was running MP5 SDs. MP5 SDs worked until they didn't, i.e. people were getting bigger so that 9mm wasn't putting them down. Remember, for the government, the only ammunition they run in MP5 SDs is 124 grain overpressured NATO ammo. That's what it was designed around, right? So again, with that 9mm round and the suppression of it and everything else, it became anemic after like 50 meters. Well, all of your engagements aren't like in the movies where you're face to face with someone and all that other stuff. You had a term that we call squirters, where people run out of buildings, you got to take a longer shot. You had issues with shooting through intermediate barriers, car doors, windshields, stuff like that. So they said, hey, what can we do to do this? And here's the constraints. Ideally, it can fit in the M4 platform. It can take the same magazine, and everything would be compatible or interchangeable, except for the barrel, right?
Dangerously compatible.
Yeah. Like as in, boom, you just blew up a fucking Daniel Defense or a knife compatible. The buff out. Got all my fingers and toes.
That is a good thing. They're designed to fail for the most part if they do explode like that in a relatively safe way. But 300 blackout changed the game there. The original dude that made 300 whisper didn't trademark it or whatever.
Well, he didn't want to give up the trademark and make it Sammy Spec. So that, and JD Jones from SK Firearms, he did that out of Ohio, and he actually has a record for the largest caliber civilian firearm in the U.S., 950 JDJ, which is technically a destructive device, but the ATF gave a waiver for it because, again, anything over 50 caliber or 12.5 millimeter, 12.5 or 12.3, anything over half an inch in diameter is considered a destructive device as far as firearms. So some of the requirements for the 300 blackout, penetration, lethality, distance, right? I can extend that and everything else. So that's one of those things that make the 300 blackout shine. Now, as powders and bullet technology increase, I can make shorter 300 blackout platforms, right? Remember back in the day, at a 14.5-inch barrel in a 5.56, you were burning less than 80% of your powder. So you had a lot of potential left, but you're not using it. That's why, like, a lot of times when you shoot 5.56s, short ones, you see these huge fucking fireballs because I can't afford to get that good SBR ammo and all that other good stuff. So again, that 300 blackout is a good round, but it has its limitations. Just like everything, you have to take it in that performance envelope. So if you could live with, just shooting out to say 300 meters with a 5-inch barrel, then that SIG Rattler is great,
And they did something very, very special with the Rattler. And real quick, Evan Bazinski, yes, absolutely, you can laser the Kim Light or DLD logo on your rifle. I don't know why you'd want to, because but yes, absolutely, you're more than welcome to. Anyone else, someone else asked me for the logo, and for sure, anyone that wants it, needs it, you can take it, and you can thank Sport Brand for designing the DLD Kim Light logo as well.
So something real quick to Barton thing. So the RPD, the RPK, they're all based off the AKM-47 design. And what they did was they just essentially flipped it and turned it upside down, and that's how it fires. So it's essentially is a squad level, or it's a squad level machine gun, RPK and RPD.
The RPDs are crazy. Those the belt fed. and I've met some dudes that have semi-auto RPDs, and um, if you want a semi-auto 14-pound AK that only fires from a belt-fed, drum, I get it, but if it was a machine gun, absolutely that makes
Yeah.
sense, But in most cases, most civilians are going to have boring, gigantic, massive semi-auto. It's like the dudes that get like the semi-auto 249s and semi-auto 240 Bravos. It's like, yeah, it's cool, and it's a big AR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course RPD is different. So the RPK is quite literally an AK, but it's got a longer barrel, thicker barrel. It's designed to be a
It's designed for that squad automatic weapon role.
yeah, it's like a light machine gun,
Yeah.
whereas
Yeah.
the RPD it's a different system, but I mean essentially it's an AK. Even though okay, AK guys are going to get pissed off. I'm saying I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with both of them. I'm just saying that RPDs are similar in that they fire 7.62 by 39, and but they're a completely different system. They have the delinker. They only fire belt fed ammo. All that, it's different. But getting back really quickly to the game changer. The game changer in a backpack gun, a car gun, when it comes to a long gun, right? The game changer was the Rattler for the biggest reason. You're no longer looking at a 1 in 8 twist or one whatever typical rifle twist. They cut it down to a 5.5-inch barrel and gave it a 1 in 5 twist. So you're still getting one full rotation before it even leaves the barrel, and a little more than one full rotation before it leaves the barrel. And I've seen dudes clanking silhouettes at 300 to 400 yards all day.
Yeah. And they're accurate. And the one of the downsides, if you consider the downside, is it's a heavy platform simply because it's a piston driven platform,
Yeah,
which piston platforms are heavier. Um, Another downside that I see with piston driven guns, all the parts are proprietary. All the parts
yeah,
are fill, long
hmm
long stroke, short stroke pistons, everything else. So that would be like the only detriment to that platform. But given given the choice, and if I got my ammo stacked and everything else, that's what I would throw in my vehicle and drive across country with.
yeah. But I think if so, have you ever broken a charging handle?
Yes. When we was up doing our thing, uh, one of the charging handles that I had, the uh, the cotter pin, the pin came out of it,
Mm,
and it could still work because it had the other half, and
yeah,
that was one of those parts to where I was skeptical on. I said, "Hey, all right, I'll put it in there and I'll see how it holds up and everything else." And all right, it failed. So I wouldn't recommend that company or their products or anything else because those things they shouldn't come out. You know,
what what company was it?
I'm not going to say.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Was it a standard mil spec charging handle?
it was a standard mil spec charging handle. Actually, not take that back. It was a, dual charging handle. But it was
Okay.
from one of the companies that's. Uh, Remember how we was talking about the Taiwanese Glock lower parts kits and everything
Yep.
else? It was like
hmm
one of those companies and everything else.
Mm,
I don't know if they got it fixed and figure it out. And it could have been a QA/QC thing because the
yeah.
pin could not have been flared out to prevent it from moving and everything else. But again, that's just like one of those things. If you're going to pay for something, um, a little bit of QA/QC, but at that price point that they're offering it, it's like it could kind of go either way. It wasn't super expensive, but it wasn't super cheap either. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah, I think it's because of the system, it's relatively easy, especially if you're, LARPing around, doing a training event, running and gunning, and you know, if that thing
AC,
gets
what's up? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
hey Steve, what's up, brother? No, you're good. If that thing gets yanked or yeeted the wrong way while most of it or some of it is still in the upper receiver, yeah, it can easily break. And I think people may immediately say, oh well, if a charging handle breaks, that means it's a, terrible quality or terrible. Not necessarily. It depends on the abuse. It depends on, what took place. I've broken, I think the first one I broke was a Spikes, which I don't even think Spikes is made by Spike. um and I think I broke, it's just some like standard ones. I can't think of any fancy ones that I've broken, but like the Raptors have been great. But my point to all this is that, let's say, your go-to truck gun, trunk gun, whatever you guys want to call it, is a smaller PDW style long gun, is a Sig Rattler and 300 blackout, and you've got 100 million rounds of 300 blackout, and you have no reason to ever need anything else, and then you snap the charging handle on your uh Rattler. What are you going to do? Because you can't just grab a charging handle off of a donating corpse in the street, right? Like it's a completely different design.
No, actually, the Rattler uses oh shit, Radian. They use Radian charging handles in the Raptor.
Hold on, the Rattler is a
It, use,
standard charging handle,
it uses a Radian charging handle. Um,
but it's different than a standard AR one, though, right? I assumed
I
it
would
was
I would have
different.
to take a look at it. I'll get back to you on that, and I'll let you know. All right.
Okay, I
And
was
that's just like the funny thing, because like the Virtus and the new Spirit Lights, they use a lot of standard AR parts and everything else as triggers and stuff like that. The Rattler, because of how it's designed, it uses, I'm not going to say proprietary SIG trigger, but because of how the lower is designed, certain parts, certain hammer pins and trigger pins won't fit in it.
yeah.
Specifically, the hammer pin, because how it comes out. So some things you can't put back in there. You have to use the SIG parts just by that design. That's again, that's one knock on it. But everything being equal, we can say that the guns is going to run and function reliably. Um, to me, in my opinion only, it's hard to beat that because it's a nice hard hitting caliber.
Mhm.
Uh, you can deal with um, most of your threats, and what I mean by that, when we start talking about intermediate barriers, people in cars hiding behind vehicles, people wearing body armor,
Mhm.
you can get pretty effective ammunition to defeat most of your body armor that the average person would be wearing.
Like
Um,
soft armor.
yeah, yeah, you're level three. Some people are rocking level three hard plates. You can defeat that with some of the um, 300 blackout ammo. You can defeat that with some of your 6.5 Grindel ammo. You can defeat that with some of your 5.56 ammo. Can we mention companies, or is that against protocol?
No, you can. I actually just got a shout out to my Boog brother out there watching. He said, watching your vid, the Rattler and the MCX MPX use proprietary charging handles. Sig Spear can take a standard AR trigger. All MCX MPX use standard AR safeties. Thank you,
Yes.
appreciate that, man. I know some people had some issues with some of the cassette triggers
Yeah.
in some of the MCXs and
So
MPXs.
one of the problems with your cassette triggers is that sometimes the specs might be off, and you can get like a lot of variance in them, so they can wiggle and wobble, and then you're adding that variance into your trigger pull and everything else. So from a precision standpoint, some of your cassette triggers, I would say stay away from them, especially some of your less expensive ones. Um, you might have to use anti-walk pins because they could be slightly out of tolerance or out of spec for your standard hammer pins and trigger pins. And again, thanks for that information. I couldn't think off the top of my head. I know the Sig Rattler has a Radiant Raptor charging handle in it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you can drop hyperfire triggers into the Sig Rattlers. They work.
Oh,
Uh,
that was fun.
yeah.
That was fun. I like
Um,
that.
so there's just stuff like that. But getting back to like the ammunition, so Fort Scott Munitions makes solid copper and solid brass spun ammunition, right? So
Hmm.
in the 5.56, the cool thing about that is your solid copper projectiles, they're, just regular projectiles. Your
Yeah.
solid brass, they have tendencies that would lend them where you can't use them from a 5.56 pistol, right? We all know we can't shoot armor piercing ammunition through pistols. We can shoot it in rifles, but you can't shoot it in pistols. That's all I'm going to say about that. I ain't telling you
Yeah.
what to do, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. So stack the deck in your favor.
Of course, the memes are already coming out. Dark doing a different kind of desk pop. Thank you, Man Against the Masses. I can always count. He's our resident meme
Uh,
artist. So, and thank you to Shooting Gallery for for shooting that over. Um, yeah, it's yeah, that's a whole thing. Actually, I'm not sure what the laws are on this, but
too many choices. It's illegal to have pistol, uh, AP ammo for pistols. You can look it up.
I think it's
You can't shoot it. You're not supposed to. You can have it. You do whatever you want to do, but you
I
that's a no
think
no.
I think it's like and I don't know if it's still a no-no or if it may be, so check into all y'all's local laws and stuff, but there was and I think it was federal, you couldn't have like like specific pistol, like 9 millimeter AP ammo
Yeah,
was a no-go, like specific handgun ammo. But nowadays there's so many carbines, pistol caliber carbines, subguns, and things like that. The
and,
line between pistol and rifle had become blurred.
and that's where it's blurry at because it's like you have to be 21 to buy handgun ammunition, right? But 22 long rifle, you can go a handgun or rifle, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like one of those things, like which one is it? But like in the ATF, they delineate, bullet construction, tungsten penetrators, the hardness of the hardness of the jacket and everything else. Can't have a hardness on the Brindle scale higher than this and all that other stuff. Too many choices. Hit me up and I'll send you. Um, I'll send you all that stuff and everything else. Um, and that's like one of the things because you can still go on and you can find 30-06 AP, black tip.
mm,
Um, and now like with the bullet technology, ammunition technology catching up to some of the requirements, you have just regular off the shelf ammo that can penetrate soft armor.
yeah,
Speed kills, velocity kills. So Liberty Civil Defense is a good one. It's
yeah.
smoking.
Yeah,
You know,
that
uh,
stuff's running crazy
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
I actually have some 357 SIG. Yeah, so this is 357 SIG. I know, it's not popular with a lot of folks out there, but this Liberty Civil Defense 357 SIG out of a Glock 33 sized firearm, which is a 26 size firearm, is pushing like almost 2,300 feet per second, which is
Yeah.
insane out of a gun that small,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. And
and
that is
that will
yeah,
blow through soft armor,
yeah.
like level 3A armor. It'll and also for longer barrel lengths, and this is kind of something I found fascinating for longer barrel lengths. Um, Out of like say a Scorpion, it's like a 7.75 inch ish barrel. I think it's like 7.7 or whatever, but um that thing with Liberty Civil Defense, Military Arms Channel put out a video. He put a Liberty Civil Defense through the Scorpion 7.75 inch barrel. It blew through level 3A soft armor, pistol armor, right? And it just chewed a huge hole through it, blew through the clay in the back. Um, and the 357 SIG stuff is crazy hot too. But the what was I going to mention? There was there are some other like exotic protect, like you can get level 3A soft armor, and you can get like I think they call it like exotic round protection or something like that for some of the 5.7s and some of that stuff. There was something on brass ammo, that brass ammo, if it was like 100% brass or a certain hardness or certain weight,
Yeah,
that it was against the law or something. I'm
yeah.
like, what?
And that's the Fort Scott. If you look up the Fort Scott 5.56 ammo, the solid brass, because of the
Mhm.
hardness of the brass and everything else, it's legal to shoot through rifles, but you can't. There's a warning, do not for pistol use, because now you get into legalities of it and everything else. You can't, it's illegal to do. You can't do it. Um, it- it's
Of
it's
course you, of course you can. You just
Yeah, you
can't.
run a risk of, yeah, you
Yeah.
can, but you can't.
Don't
Uh,
get in trouble, guys.
yeah. And then also, like, we start looking at like the Underwood ammo, and we're talking like 357 SIG and 10 millimeter. So like your normal factory ammo for 357 SIG might be pushing about 420 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. You start looking at some of the ballistics on the Underwood ammo, man, you're talking like 500-600 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, from a
Mhm.
pistol, a standard like Glock 19 size pistol and everything else. And even if you are rocking, say, hard armor plates and everything else, you got all that force coming back into you. And if you get like a good shot into your diaphragm, it's going to knock you out. It's going to
Yeah.
hurt.
Dude, I could not believe, most soft armor will stop like buckshot, slugs, and most hard plates will too. I say most, guys, because let's be real, a lot of the inexpensive uh Chinesium market or armor on the market is not truly up to spec. They may have had some plates fulfill the requirement, but there's a lot of armor on the market that have a half inch of foam on the
Yeah.
outside of their 10 by 12s and whatnot. But to see what a 12 gauge slug does to a ceramic plate, I mean, it's like when a level 4 ceramic plate gets hit with a 12 gauge slug, it is just like a fountain of ceramic just
Yes, sir.
blowing out of it, compromises the entire plate. And if a 5.56 round were to follow that, it'd be
Yeah.
lights out.
And one of those things, like, now we're talking about plates and everything else, we start talking about swimmer cut, sappy cut, all that stuff and everything else. But what you really want to look for is, one, make sure it's multi-hit rated. And
Mhm.
then also, and this is where the expense goes up. If you can, make sure you get something that's NIJ certified. And there's a difference between NIJ certified and test it to NIJ standards. And DLD, what I'll do is, once we jump off, because my phone died and I can't get out of the screen, I'll send you the NIJ standards, and they have a list of all body armor that's been approved and certified to the NIJ standards. Now, caveat about the NIJ standards. I want to say the last revision was 2007. Next year, they're going to publish a new revision, and they're going to break it down into handgun and rifle specific threats, right?
Yeah.
Because from 2007 till today, you had an advancement in bullet technology where, before, the fastest moving 9 millimeter was what, 1,300 feet per second. Now we
Yeah.
got 9 millimeter doing damn near 2,100 feet per second.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff, even like federal BPLE plus P plus, that
Yeah,
stuff is pushing, that of like a 357 Magnum energy out of it. Not it depends on a lot of stuff like barrel length and whatnot. But the thing that this is what I was gonna say earlier. The thing that I was blown away about that you just you, in a lot of cases you just kind of think, more barrel length, more accuracy, more energy and all that stuff. I started thinking, like, let's say an 8.5 inch AR9, right? Looking at an 8.5 inch AR9 and a 16.5 inch 9 millimeter carbine, the difference between the two was only like an average of 50 feet per second.
yeah.
And it just blew my mind because, like, I know a lot of people don't mess with Keltec. What's up, Flying Rich? Good to see you, bud. Um, I know a lot of people don't mess with Keltec, but one of the, in my opinion, coolest guns they've made, besides the P3AT, the P11, PF9 and the P40 and all the cool stuff they've done, KSG and anyway, one of the coolest guns they've made is the Sub 2000, right? A little folding 9mm, takes Glock mags, and I just always figured a 16.5-inch 9mm is got to be, usually with pistols you're like, okay, more energy, more more velocity, better sight radius, more accuracy, like it's all good, right? But that's not always the case with subguns and carbine length, because to go from an 8.5-inch to a 16.5-inch 9mm is a huge difference in size for the person, donning that firearm on themselves, right? It's a big deal. To only get an average of 50 feet per second of an increase is insane. So I say all this to say this, guys. You could literally have a standard like HK91 style MP5 and a 16-inch AR9 and be almost exactly the same in energy, accuracy, velocity, and energy transfer and all that, which is insane to me.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, because just remember your case capacity, the 9mm. So you're going to reach a point of diminishing returns where all the powder's burnt. You're not going to build up any more pressure, and now actually it's going to be more detrimental because you have the friction in the barrel slowing the bullet down, right? So there's more friction going through that barrel than there's going to be friction and resistance going through the air. Right, if that makes any sense. So it's just like with the 300 blackout, right? So 300 blackout has an optimum length. But when you get into twist rate, bullet size, and everything else, there's that performance envelope where you get the optimum length, right? And let's just say, like right now, pretty much everyone agrees that best length for a 1 in 7 twist or a 1 in 10 twist 300 blackout is between 8 to 11 inches, right? When AAC first put out their 300 blackout, it was an 11-inch upper, and they tested it. They figured out to meet these requirements with this ammunition and everything else, 11 inches is the sweet spot, because I'm not going to get anything else because of the capacity of the casing, the type of ammo that they're using. They're using a very fast burning pistol powder, right? So it's fast burning. I don't need all that length to burn it. It's like being a pilot. I got more thrust. I don't need a longer runway to launch.
Yeah, I always thought it was like the 8.5 range or something around that. What is the optimal length to girth ratio? Thanks, Martin. But barrel length obviously is is going to have an impact on that too, because if you like, I've seen people selling 300 blackout barrels, 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9, 1 to 10, and yeah, if you got a 1 to 8 that's 8.5 inches long and a 1 to 10 that's 11 inches long, that would be similar, So, Tank Money, what's up, brother? But bringing all this information together, if you were going out the house, I know, we always talk about like, oh, we need to bug out. I'm gonna do everything I can to bug in, bro, because I don't plan on going anywhere, and I got way too much equipment and ammo and food and water and everything I need here, and a very attractive neighbor that I could stay here for a long time. So I'll plan on staying here, but
long live the FUPA.
yeah, if you were gonna have to go in the whip and look as civilian as possible, right? And we've talked about on this channel before where we're like, a lot of dudes are going to be running around in full kit like too early because they got that fantasy of like, oh, it's SHTF, I need to get in full kit and walk around and scavenge. Like, bro, you haven't even gone through your canned food yet, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But if you had to grab a long gun and hide it on your person to be as civilian looking as possible, even whatever, what would you grab? It doesn't matter if you own it now or not. If money were not an issue and laws weren't an issue, what would you grab to keep on you to fill almost every situation as possible?
As a general multi-purpose do-all,
yes,
it would be the I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. Just real quick, from city suburbs, and country. What would you keep
Ooh,
on you?
what are you throwing and country? God damn.
It's I know that totally changes things because
All right. So I'm going to address city and country, city and suburbs, and a little bit of the country. To look as completely as civilian as possible. That would be, really a city and suburbs thing. Once you're in
yeah,
the country, open country, you kind of it
you do whatever.
changes a little bit, right? Because I got
Yeah.
standoff distance.
All right.
And
So
when we
then
talk
let's to be fair,
all
let's
right, so when we talking country, are we talking like wooded areas? Or are we talking like wide open, flat ranges in Utah and shit like that where I can see for miles?
yeah, let's okay, let me be fair because it's not I'm already in my head like, oh shit, what would I pick? I didn't think about that
Yeah.
country part. Let's say city, suburbs, and like, let's take country out for now. I think I would do a different loadout for
All right. Yeah,
country.
so definitely for country, and I got a loadout for that too, right?
Hmm.
So above all else and everything else, everything being equal, I grab a Sig 300 blackout, fully auto select fire, and here's the reason, right?
Hmm.
Um, Not only that is the weapon of choice for the SOCOM low visibility assault weapons program, ROC. Um, it's one of those things. It can kind of do everything well, right?
Hmm.
It's accurate, right? I can shoot it suppressed if I'm in the city and everything else. So I got subsonic 300 blackouts to meet that need. If I have to extend the range a little bit, say 200, 300 meters, it's capable of doing that, right? You can wear it under what you have on right there and it wouldn't be noticeable. You can rock that thing, you know, slung just like an MP5,
Yep.
right? Um, and you can rock a recce vest, just under your shit. You got 6 magazines across the front. You got on the jacket, a flannel shirt. It doesn't, you got on something like I got on now. You
Hmm.
can't tell it, right? And then when you have
Yeah.
to bring it to bear, it just comes out. You get, take that first shot with it folded up, or if you got time to deploy the stock to get more accurate on it. So that's like
Hmm.
that perfect 0 to 350, 400 meter um, weapon, in my opinion. Now, if I'm
Are
going to
you
go
talking
out,
Rattler when you say
yeah,
300
300
blackout
Rattler.
sig the
Yeah.
Rattler? Okay.
So I would say first choice would be a 300 Rattler. Second choice would be the Maxim, the 300 Maxim. Right now, the one of the issues with the Maxim, the Maxim PDW, it has that SCW stock and brace. So again, that's a proprietary bolt and everything else, right?
Hmm.
Good thing about the Maxims, I can take that upper off and put it onto a regular AR-15 lower, right?
It's
If
called 300 Maxim.
yeah, it's a Maxim. So if you look up Maxim Defense and look
Okay.
up their PDW line, right?
Hmm.
And that again, that Maxim, that product was developed out of a solicitation from one of the SOCOM units,
Okay.
right? So again, those 300 blackouts in that role is because it's easily concealable. It's easy to carry. You can start off with a 20-round magazine to put. You see my setup,
Yeah.
right? So that's really, it's not going to draw a lot of attention to you, and you can do that 0 to 400 yard work with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if we're going to go out west, go to Kansas where it's a lot of flat lands and everything else, it's not like a lot of barriers, and I'm trying to take distance shots.
Hmm.
Again, I would take, a 6.5 Grendel, right? 13-inch 6.5 Grendel, because again, from 0 to like 400 with the proper ammunition, you got the kinetics effects of an 18-inch 308, right?
Mm.
Less wind drift because you have higher BC bullets, right? And they can do a lot of damage. If I want to push out, say, to 1,000 meters, I would take a 14.5 6.5 Creedmoor in the 308 platform. Now I'm giving up weight because it's a little bit heavier. But
Hmm.
14.1 and 14.5, 6.5 Creedmoor, that is proven to touch out to 1,000 plus with 140 Burger bullets.
And you could still kick doors with it if you needed to.
Yeah, it's still maneuverable, but it's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Could.
Burger
Could.
M1200. You know, so um, a 10.5, 5.56, or even an 11.5, 5.56 with the proper ammo, Mark 262, Mark 263, 77 grain OTMs,
Hmm.
or the TMKs, the tip match kings is what they're going to now for a higher BC. You can get out to 700 plus meters, but the problem is you don't have a whole bunch of kinetic energy left, and they're more subject to wind drift,
Yeah,
right? It's,
yeah,
it's easier to reach out that far with a 6.5 because it's a higher ballistic, it has a higher ballistic coefficient, right?
yeah.
Um, that's, you go out west. Once you cross Mississippi and you got these wide open spots and everything else, that's what I would take, you know.
Dang. Tim Harper, thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, check out 960 Roland in your G19, 357 mag power in a 9 millimeter. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that. I know they originally did the 460 Roland in a Glock 21, Glock 30 setup. I've looked into it, but I haven't actually looked into it like considering to make the changes. I took a picture of 4 of my Glocks tonight, and I want to bring it up to kind of have another conversation with you guys about something a little different, but it'll be important. It's an important thing to review. I think that's a good loadout, or a series of loadouts, and I think it's important to have different loadouts in, like, right now, at home, in your gun room, in your gun safe, whatever your setup is. Um, if you don't have other loadouts, right? If you don't have, and I'm not saying everyone needs a CQB loadout and a Recce loadout and this and that. I'm saying that, like JoVa just went through and said, for these applications, I would use this. These things cover more applications because they're unique in this way. For, mid range, I would use this. For long range, I would use this. That's something that all of us need to think about. And also, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, listen, guys, what you are supposed to be doing is you're supposed to be building a small team, a small unit of dudes that think like you, m- like, shoot like you, train like you, and you need to sync your comms. You need to do all the stuff that you do. Okay, we've talked about this 100 times on the show, but if you guys are building a small unit of dudes that you can trust, dudes that you would trust them, manipulating the safety on their rifle behind you. Okay. If you cannot trust these dudes to manipulate their safety with their long gun behind you, if they don't know that in some situations you got to be at high ready, at low ready, at temple index, at whatever, if you don't trust them to be behind you with a loaded gun, then that's not the right dude for your team. Okay. Um, so anyway, so I say all this to say this: you would likely have a designated marksman on your team, right? Or maybe someone that has 10-3 or 11-5 or whatever, but that also has a long gun on their back. Or you may have a dude that's rocking a 11-5, but also has a Serbu Super Shorty clip to his plate carrier or something like that. Like, there's other applications here, but we're looking at what would cover most applications for the most part. And I think the 300 blackout with a 1-5 twist, with the abilities and the capabilities that it gives you to reach out from 0 to 100 to 200 to even 300 and 400 in a 5.5 inch barrel with a folding stock is unmatched, right? Like, you cannot get that anywhere else. And in a package that's basically the size of an MP5K, like, come on, that's insane. And I would probably, even though every bone in my body is saying, Dark, you need a 5.56, you need a 5.56, I would probably want to say a 5.5 inch 300 blackout Rattler, but I've done most work with that 10.3 inch 5.56.
And that's just the deal. So like right here, right now, we live in a country where 5.56 is the predominant
Yeah, it's
round.
king.
So it's easy to get. So, you know, within that caliber, there's a lot of options, and you have to figure out what's best for you. Are you going to run a suppressor on it, right? So we know the issues with running suppressors and short 5.56s, right? You run into different issues, right? Know the issues with running short 5.56s and trying to reach out to certain distances. If you haven't done it, sometimes you can struggle at doing it,
Yeah.
Like right now, the new hotness is a 13.7 inch 5.56,
Yeah,
and
I've
when you
seen
think
that.
about it, it's less than an inch shorter than the 14.5. So
Yeah.
why shave off an inch? But when you look at the physics, like you said, when you sit down, if you got the time, go and you can look it up on YouTube and everything else. But if you got the resources to do it for yourself and start looking at the performance differences when you start going from a 16-inch 5.56 to a 14 to a 13 to 11.5 and everything else. And then you'll decide for yourself, all right, well, this is my 60% solution. This is what's going to get me through the majority of things that I'm going to encounter where I live at. And
Yeah.
and that's it, ideally, if you could get an AR-15 lower with a 10.3 upper, a 13.9 upper, and a 6.5 Grendel upper. All
Mhm.
right, now I got to carry all these fucking uppers and all this ammo. So
Yeah.
you throw that shit out the door because that's more work than it's worth.
Yeah.
You know,
And for everyone out there that's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna carry around another upper," remember, and we've talked about this before, the dudes that were rocking, I mean, there were dudes that used to rock 20-inch, 20-inch 1 to 7 M16s, like A2s, right? And, then they upgraded to the 14.5-inch. At the time that the 14.5-inch, were the standard military, rifle, um, the Mark 18 CQBR wasn't a rifle when it dropped. It was an upper. The Mark
it
18
was
CQBR was
it
the
was an
designation for it.
additional kit that was developed by Naval Surface Warfare Division Crane out of Crane, Indiana, and was
Mhm,
developed for the Navy. And actually, we've always had that 10.3 upper because even going back to Vietnam, used to have the M16 Commando or AF-15 Commando, right?
mhm.
So you can look at the pictures of the Coast Guard and the Navy doing vessel boarding, search, and seizures, right? And that's what they would rock.
I always
And
thought those were 10.5s. Those were 10.3s?
yeah, those are 10.3s, 10 and a half. It's the same concept, but we've
Okay.
always had those short 10-inch 5.56s, right? So it's not new, it just came back around. You had, now we had the luxury of having better bullet technology, right?
Mhm,
That's when you came up with the 77 grain OTM 5.56 rounds, Mark 262s, right? And
mhm.
shout out to Black Hills Ammunition because they came up with a solution for that issue.
Yeah,
And then faster burning powders and thinner jackets. Now you put a Sierra tip Match King bullet on it, make it a TMK, and now because you're losing velocity, and velocity is the driving force and the driving factor because I have a minimum fragmentation velocity and I need that at such and such to do what it's designed to do. And so you work through all that, but again, you have to figure out what are your requirements.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
What are the exact applications? Like, what are your
hey, can you give me a
intentions?
minute so I can get a charger real quick? Because I
Yeah,
want to
go
see
ahead, go ahead.
the
Do your thing.
telephone.
Yeah, do your thing. Shout out to Red Dawn Readiness, which he's dropping some truth here. Red Dawn Readiness, and check out his channel as well, y'all. He's working on building a channel right now. Jason, what's up, brother? Appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Our boy Parrots in here, Steve Whoop, all you guys, appreciate you coming in and hanging out. TMC as well. The Tech, a bunch of these dudes have channels too. Okay, so check them out. So let me back up a little bit. So Red Dawn Readiness says training day tomorrow. If you have guns and no group, you're going to be a loot drop. Bro, this is I cannot encourage you guys more. So many dudes are focused on the fantasy side of the whole idea of SHTF, and shit is escalating all over the world right now, and we're just going to kind of be stuck in the middle, and we are at the uh you know the mercy of dirtbags in charge that want terrible things to happen. So without going too crazy off the rails here, if you have guns in no group, you're going to be a loot drop. Now, Steve Whoop says, Red Dawn, yeah, I'm a killer loot drop. Not many like-minded peeps in my town. So, Steve Whoop, I would encourage you to do this. I would encourage you to look at who would be the individuals that you would become a loot drop for, and befriend those people in your area. Because you got to find like-minded people in your area. If you don't have at least a few people to sync your comms with, and if you're not setting up communications that are outside of your cell phone internet and all that, the first things I would expect to go are power, cell phone service, Wi-Fi, and all that stuff. And if you don't have other means of communication, even get some cheap boof wings, right? Get some cheap Baofengs. The communication is one of the most important things. Also, on something like Baofangs, where you have you have emergency channels, you have weather channels, you have radio, right? So you don't wash out your mouth with buckshot one day. You can actually listen to music if anything's playing. Like there's a bunch of things to consider. And we had some more. Let's see. He says, "Move, bro. I have a solid group of a couple of them, but I'd still rather have a better ground than a large group in a shit area." I would tell you, man, there are two dudes somewhere around you that are looking for dudes just like you. Now, don't go putting ads in your local newspaper, okay? But there are ways you can find people. Dude, I met a dude at Walmart, and we started talking because he had a knife in his pocket. And this is one of the ways I do this. I'll ask him, what kind of knife is that? Now, if they're like, I don't know, they're not a gear dude, right? They're not a gear junkie. They're not. If he's like, oh, this is an SW35 Spyderco, blah blah blah, then I know right away he's rocking a knife. What does he probably also have, or what is he probably also into? Guns. And you start, getting to know dudes, build a relationship, then all of a sudden, if they're good, trustworthy people that are people of integrity, start building a team, man, because you can't do this alone. And regardless of where you are, there are people out there that are looking for people just like you. That's all I'm saying. And with most of the shit you did in the military, with most of the doors you kicked in, would you be here right now if you were by yourself?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't kicking no doors, man.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean,
My body ain't built for that shit. No. Yeah, no. So there's two aspects to that, right? You do need a team and everything else. You need a support group, a support network, and
hold
everything.
on, JoVa. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I usually wouldn't, usually I wouldn't do this, but
I'm sorry.
no, Steve Woo. You're an RSO at your local range. You have like all the prospects. What are you talking about? You have every single prospect that's coming into shit. Like, yo, now don't be weird about it, right? But like, it just you're looking to build relationships and make friends. That's all you do. If it goes to another place, then this is such a weird conversation. But don't be weird. Don't be fetish or whatever. But just like, bro, you're an RSO in your range. Like, bro, what? Sorry, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Teams, units.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's there's certain aspects where you do need the support and everything else because you just need it. And it's one of those things. You can operate on your own, but you can't operate on your own for long, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of us seen what's the movie 12 strong or whatever the fuck
Yep.
it is,
Yep.
right? Where they infilled and the dude with the fucking baseball cap, the CIA guy, he was out there by himself. So they
Mhm.
they do that. They do have
For
what's
sure.
called singletons that is just fucking out there doing their shit.
They also have a little more resources than average Joes like us.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. They have a lot more fucking support behind that guy and shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So this whole thing about I'm gonna be John Wick and just fucking, do all this shit. Yeah, you might be able to do that for a little while, but after a while, you're gonna have to sleep, rest, resupply, do all this other shit, then you're just going to turn into one of those marauders, and no one's going to like you. So I
Yeah,
would
and if
say
you're one dude, if you're one dude, you're at 100% security when you're awake. And then Jova, what happens when you go to sleep?
you're zero.
You're at 0% security.
Yep.
It's less sustainable. Could you live? Could you survive? Absolutely. Would it be a life that you truly would love to live for and kill for? And
Yeah.
maybe,
Especially if
maybe not.
everything's going to shit, because you have stories of guys that just say, screw society, move up to Alaska, and you never hear from them again. And people do that. They live that, they leave that solitary life. You can
Hmm.
do it, but again, like you said, meet some like-minded people that's solid, you trust, you can build a rapport with, and you can vet them, right? And
Yeah.
you are moving the same way. You're not always going to agree on everything, but you move the same way. You have the same principles, you have the same priorities, right?
Hmm.
So, and you don't have to go shooting with them every day, but occasionally check in on them, make sure everything's good with them and everything else. And then also, the biggest thing is develop and make your networks before you need them. And I think that's what DLD is saying, right?
Hmm.
When shit hits the fan, it's too late to try and figure it out then, because everyone's
Yeah.
going to be scrambling. And when we start talking about shit hitting the fan, SHTF and everything else, that looks different, right? And
Hmm.
you start talking about like civil unrest and everything else. Look at when these people was blocking the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, right? What do you do in that situation? What would have happened had that turned violent? Because all it takes is for the cops to start arresting one or two people, and then their supporters start, uh, tussling with the cops, and then they start tussling with the people in the vehicles, right? You got a riot on the bridge. What are you going to do?
I'm a big fan of ETN and RDX, but yeah, it depends on the situation.
Yeah, yeah, it's not, nothing like going exothermic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so look at and you brought it up, the gentleman, he was committed in New York at the courthouse. He
Hmm.
was a true believer. He set himself on fire,
Yeah.
you
And,
know.
and yo, I don't know. So a new video just dropped. I was really tempted to play it, but it's a little too graphic. And I know I always play graphic stuff on here, right? I played a video of a dude, using a combination of jujitsu and his EDC to plant a jacketed hollow point up this dude's gooch. I mean, he literally shot him up the
That
A.
dude, man.
Um, you know what? I every now and then, we do commercial breaks on here, so let's just go to a quick commercial. Wait for the reach around. Wait for the reach around.
Ouch.
Oh, um, in a situation like that, when you're in athletic shorts and you can literally see the concussion flap through your D and B's. Oh, bro, that's yeah. So now, usually I don't think anyone here has a weak enough stomach to be like right, and then yikes, Carbon Q. By the way, our female viewership is up to like 13%. So maybe that's just Carbon Q, Ting Ting, and those gals that hang out here. But thank you. So he put a hollow point in a hollow point. Yes. Uh, but here's the deal. There was this video from a new vantage point of the guy before he left this mortal coil. He was put out, but he wasn't put out. What happens is your internals become embers, and you will continuously keep spontaneously combusting, and that's what happened. And in this video, he is trying to pat out himself when his internals
Walk it
start.
off.
He walk it off. He he was literally crisped, like to where he's like when you light a match and blow it out and it like curls up, right? He's like this curled up like stick, and his intestine area catches again, and they hit him with a psh again, and then it combusts again, and then he's like like patting himself, and you can see that even him just moving is excruciating. One, two, like, dude, that had to be over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit for it to. I mean, it was insane, dude. It was disgusting. People are psychopaths, and he did it because of cryptocurrency. I don't know. We could talk about that another time, but yeah. So sorry. So back to the loadouts really quickly. I would say I would be really, really hard pressed to say, you know what, I would be really tempted to take a 5.5-inch Rattler and 300 blackout. And at the same time, I really think that I would stick to my 10.3-inch 5.56 because I know my holds. I know I could bring that thing out to, 400. It would be more difficult, but I know I could take the 77 OTMs, our tits out of that thing. Even though I got the 14.5-inch Geisley Super Duty with the 1-to-6 LPVO on that thing, I'm probably gonna go for urban suburban with that. If I needed to go super low pro, no one can see me armed. First off, I'm always gonna have a Glock in my waistband. I'm always gonna have an extra mag in my waistband. I'm always gonna have a blade in my pocket. I'm always gonna have a goon beam on my other side, and I'm always going to have my hot sauce, my long range eye poke, the OC spray on my left side, and I'm usually going to have a second small fixed blade on my belt. In addition to that, if I were to just lace up the little MP5K underneath a poncho, I would look like just a dude with a poncho, and I could open up and go to work. Mark Tucka, Mup, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Good to
You know,
see you.
and
What are
that's
your thoughts on that?
and that's something else that's good because you are proficient with those systems. Don't go changing up and everything else. Now you got to relearn the system. You're not as proficient with it. And the one caveat that I would mention is I'm not going to say master all platforms, but have a working knowledge and understanding of all platforms
For sure.
because um, worst case scenario, you start putting in some work and everything else, right? And you drop someone and they got a full up AK-47, pick that up and start rocking that. Don't
Yep.
don't spend your money, spend other people's money.
Mhm.
So I would have to know how to use that to a certain degree and everything else. I
Yep.
have to know that your AK-47s don't have a last round bolt hold open.
Mhm. And could you run it? And if there was a
Yeah,
nearly catastrophic malfunction, could you take it apart and put it back together?
yeah,
Having a working knowledge, like you said, which is a great idea of AKs, ARs, most bolt guns, shotguns, and just in general. And I think a lot of us do, right? But
yeah.
if you're an AR guy and have never run an AK, put a one in chat. If you're an AK guy and have never run an AR, put a one in chat. If you're an AR guy and could not disassemble an AK, put a one in an AK guy and could not disassemble an AR, put a one in chat. And it's not for judgment. I'm just curious. Grand Life AJ, what's up, brother? Chinamemba, my guy. Appreciate y'all. Um,
And there's so much to think about, right?
Thank you,
You know,
Carbon
we also have to think about we just focus heavily on firearms. Well, I also need some medical stuff, you know,
Absolutely,
and
man.
that's one of those things where if you have to get out and you have to walk, do whatever, um, give some consideration as to what type of medical stuff you would bring on your person for you. At the bare minimum, you should have X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to say what it is because everyone's needs and everyone's requirements are different. Um,
Dude,
so
this is so. the medical is super important, and I do want to get on that in 1 second. I just want to say I'm actually kind of surprised. We got one, two, and not to call anyone out. There's no judgment. This is a good. Wouldn't you rather figure this out now than when your neighbors are trying to, steal your bread and eat your baby, or steal your baby and eat your bread? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is also an admission. 8, 9. So it would be important if you know other dudes around you that have maybe an AK or an AR, whatever you're not used to. Uh, just be like, hey, can you show me how to take it down? How do you clear malfunctions? What do you do? Why do you keep a cleaning rod on an AK?
Yep.
Trust me, you're going to need one with the quality of ammo that you're probably going to be running through it.
Yep. And then, just like the manual of arms, because the manual of arms on the AK-47 platform is different than the manual of arms on an AR-15 platform. It's different than the manual of arms on the shotgun. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying, you're going to be fucking Neo and shit, but just have an understanding of it, because you might roll up and be lucky enough and have link up with someone, and you have to explain to them how to run an AK.
Yeah.
You have to explain to them how to run an AR-15, and
Yeah.
that's just the nature of the beast. Also learn how to drive a manual transmission.
Hmm.
That might be the only vehicle that's operable. You know,
That's something that is a big opportunity for me. I can drive a manual, but you're going to hear me coming from a long way
yeah,
away. you know,
you can't find them, grind them. You
Yep.
know,
Dude,
um,
and actually, another thing to consider, we talk about building a team of 6 guys, right? Like, think of it like this. If there's 6 dudes and you guys are in the middle of an armed exchange, and one dude's AK, let's say he had to ditch his AR and grab an AK off of a cadaver, right? Um, if he's running AK and his gun goes down and he needs you to help him, diagnose, troubleshoot, fix it, whatever, how many guns are now taken out of a 6-man team? Now that's 2 guns removed out of a 6-man team. You're reducing your percentage of effectiveness. So it's, definitely something you want to get in front of now and
yeah,
not in a bad situation.
and there's so many scenarios, and the cool thing is we have so many lessons learned. So now I would say now is a great time, because you can actually go on a YouTube and you can actually look at actual shootings, and you can sit back and dissect them and get, it's just like watching uh, a tape of a football game on a Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you can see what you did well, what you didn't do. You was out of position. You can do this. At the end of the day, you got a W, but you probably could have did it a little bit cleaner, right?
Mhm.
So now we're talking about economy of motion, economy of forces, and all this other stuff. Um, and you said it, DLD, the best way. Some things are better learned before.
Yeah, for
You know,
real.
to have that baseline of knowledge, like if you're going through something and you have to take ground, how do you set up to defend a particular area? Do you have interlocking fields of fire? Even is this area defendable, or do we
Yeah.
need to go somewhere else? You
Mhm.
know, you roll up into a building, you're going to hunker down there. Can I easily defend this building? Is it
Yeah.
worth defending? You know,
Yeah, what
uh,
resources do you have
yeah,
being there? What's
yeah,
the
yeah.
security like? And also
What's
keep in mind too, when it comes to sorry, just real quick, when it comes to like, getting a team together, doing that beforehand, before things get bad, are you going to trust somebody more so when everything is okay, everything's fine, everyone's got money, everyone's got food, everyone's got water? Are you going to trust people coming to your door saying, please, please, please take me to, in a desperate situation where they are desperate to survive? What is going to be an easier setup? Can you trust them? Are they good people of integrity? Because a team of 6 dudes is not just a team of 6 dudes. A team of 6 dudes is, could be 36 people, right? You got dude, you got wife, you got maybe 2 kids. Okay, you do that math over and over, and then maybe they end up having to pick up a neighbor, right? Then they got, grandparents and parents in the area, and you're looking at 6 dudes out here. is nearly 50 people
Yep.
with
And,
where I'm at.
and then also, it might grow because you might roll into someone that has a particular skill that you need. And to everyone in the chat, I apologize because we continually say dudes, but one of those 6 dudes on your team very well could be a female that
Yeah.
can get down and can handle their own and everything else. And it's not always just about he's a shooter, or they're a
Mm.
shooter, they're a shooter. They might be good, with communications. They might be good. You got some people in the chat that work farms. They can butcher, slaughter an animal.
Hmm. They could
Um,
blacksmith,
yeah,
bladesmith. They
yeah.
can build
Uh,
guns.
you might have that one person that can steal any car. That's a good talent to have, man. It's a
Yep.
damn good talent to have.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, one of my family members who is a female is probably the only person that I know that is a female that is the most skilled mechanic that could procure any vehicle that she chose to, that she knows all the tricks, she knows that she could, that. And having somebody like that on your team is a huge advantage.
Especially now because a lot of your cars are electronic and everything else. I just can't go um, hit an ignition switch with a screwdriver and turn it. 1985 Camaros. So you have to have some skills to override that frequency and everything else, and to spoof it. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
live. You know,
Yeah.
um, just knowing how to siphon gasoline. I got one of those bulbs and everything else, and I was supposed to give it to someone to give away for the 12 days of Christmas, but they didn't invite me on their thing. So it's just like,
uh,
not saying be paranoid, but just have enough stuff that you might need and everything else. Because a lot of times I live my life day to day because I know I can get up and go down to the gas station and get gas. I can
mhm,
get a hot cup of coffee and I can get some food from down there. But
mhm,
what happens when that goes out? Case in point, was it December of 2020 when that dude blew up the RV at that
mm,
AT&T node?
yep,
People was losing their freaking minds, man. ATMs wasn't working. You couldn't do this. And that
yep,
one little building had a ripple effect. The secondary and tertiary orders of effect spread, up to Cincinnati, down to Atlanta, and everywhere else because everything was interconnected.
yep.
You know, um,
Big
but
Easy is referring to this one, by the way. This is the 4 most likely water keys to get at commercial buildings. Um, Little tiny inexpensive tools like this can not only be a great fist filler when displace someone's jaw, but also something like this may be one of the only things that keeps you alive if stuff does go crazy. Also, very easy ways to make fire. We joke a lot here. We joke a lot here. But guys, if you think I'm playing when I say that chicks will be turning tricks for Bic lighters, I am telling you, when people no
that
longer
chick
have,
turning tricks for Bix.
dude, I'm telling you, you'll be able to trade firearms and ammunition for a Bic
Oh
lighter.
man,
Like you'll
C
be able to get
CTB.
guns. Mm-hmm. Let me
Yeah.
grab one thing. Keep going. You can address some of the people. And dang, even Carbon Q, a woman here is saying 100% people will be turning tricks for Bix. Absolutely. Give me one second. I'm just gonna grab one thing.
All right. Just keep the shit in my bag. Everything else, boom, 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 boom. Um, to build a fire. Yeah. So there's a lot of things. Surprisingly enough, there's a lot of things you can go to Academy and they have some of these things on sale. You can go to Walmart. The Walmart camping section, surprisingly enough, has a lot of useful stuff and it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
And don't go broke doing it. Someone put a magnifying lens in there. Yeah, you can have one of those. They also have the little signal mirrors. Those are great.
Yeah.
You can also get one of those little plastic magnifiers that concentrates the sun rays and all the good stuff. But you know, um, there's a lot of stuff you can get and you can have that you should have. And then one thing, if you do start getting stuff, understand how to utilize it and how to operate it, because there's nothing worse than having something that you don't know how to use.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even something like cold weather sleeping bag with a cold weather blanket and a pillow. You can pack that up to be pretty small. Most dudes don't even so most dudes don't even have medical, right? Um, I don't want to give up too much information on my last. I guess I should go back on the last live stream I did where I should probably put Civil War movie spoilers in there. I'm going to give up one thing really quickly that may be a little bit of a spoiler for the Civil War movie, but it was basically this. The There was a scene in the movie where a dude that was driving a car was shot. He was shot once with a 5.56 with an AR pattern rifle. I assume it was a 5.56, and he was driving and he said, "Hey, I can't drive anymore." And they're like, what do you mean, what's wrong? And they see he took a round left through his back, and his the left side of his back came out, his so it likely impacted his long ribs. It was a sucking chest wound, right? And it would soon become a sucking chest wound, and definitely perforated his lung. Hmm.
No, I was just shaking my head. Barton Fent wrote about dryer lint as used as a good fire starter and
Oh yeah.
everything else. It's like, yep.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. So this dude was hit in the left lung through his back, out of his chest, and these are people that were going around the whole movie very prepared. They had currencies from other countries. They had equipment for everything they were doing. Right. They took him out of the driver's seat, threw him in the back seat, and just slammed the door and got back in the car and started driving. And I was like, well, they're probably going to pull off because they were just in an engagement. They were probably going to drive down the way and pull to a safe area to administer aid, right? No, they didn't. They just let him bleed to death and drown in his own blood in the back seat of the truck. And then they're like, oh, he died. He took his last breath. No shit.
No
Like, what did you think? He literally drowned in the air. Like, it drives me crazy. And would he had survived if they put a chest seal on? And that maybe they could have gotten him to a place where he could have been given surgery, and maybe he could have found a trauma surgeon, whatever. But at least, like, bro, you gotta have medical on you. You gotta have hemostatic gauze. You gotta have Z folded gauze. You gotta have tourniquets. You gotta have chest seals. You gotta have just some of the most basic stuff for if you're throwing kit on to go out of your house and potentially punch holes all over the place. You should have something to fill holes on you and everyone on your team. Let's say you have a team of 6 guys, everyone should have a kit for themselves. And like for me, I have the Blue Force micro trauma kit now. It's the smallest one on the market. I love it. It just deuces on all the other ones that I've ever had. So much more easy to maneuver. You can sit down without feeling like you're crushing your trauma kit, your medical kit. And I also added 2 more horizontal uh tourneys on the sides of my belt. So more tourniquets, smaller medical. It's like it's not even there. I love it. Whatever you figure out is your thing. Like I had to go through 4 trauma kits. Well, really more if you consider the one that I used to have on my plate carrier. But you got to figure out which trauma kit is for you, what works, what is small enough to be able to run around, run and gun, hop a fence, tuck and roll, grandma, whatever you got to do, and still be able to keep your kit on you, affixed to your person, that you, after you've been hit, compromised, taken out, whatever, what's it called when like you've been compromised and you're not as strong, and what's the word for that?
Immobilized.
Yeah, once you've been immobilized, you need to be able to still grab it from both hands, from both sides, because you don't know, you may be curled up over half of an arm on your body, and you may need to reach it with your offhand. And I will say the micro trauma kit now is tight enough velcroed in there that it's not going to come out on its own, but you can grab it and pull it out without like too much strength. So
Yeah,
it's a
so,
good
so,
medium.
so basically, all your stuff needs to be accessible from like the majority of situations, whether you're in a vehicle, standing up, running, whatever, kneeling. And again, we can't account for everything that could possibly happen, but you cover your basics. And
Mhm.
then one thing about that, and DLD has mentioned this before, and is a big proponent. Once you get your stuff set up, try it out. Try it out. We see a lot of people. I'll go and buy this bug out bag, this rucksack, this bag, this backpack, and I brought it because it was on sale and it looked cool and it gave me the gray man effect. And this is what whoever else was rocking on YouTube, but it doesn't fit me, right? And if you have something like an REI or an outdoor store around you, go to them and say, hey, I'm looking to buy a bag to fit my torso. And a decent store is going to measure you and tell you this is what size bag you need because of
Mhm.
your torso length and where's your ride and everything else. There's nothing worse than putting 30 or 40 pounds on your back and it's not comfortable, right? Same thing with shoes, right? You go and buy your shoes or your boots or whatever, who actually knows what their shoe size is? Go get your feet measured.
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes. Wear clean socks, you know, get your feet measured. Um,
Size matters is what
uh,
Carving Q said.
so Carbon Q is on team length. I'm team girth
I'm team girth all day.
all day.
Slight length with most girth.
I'm
uh,
on girth. I got that 4:18 aspect ratio.
Dang, what's the barrel twist? It's like, okay, getting to the handgun aspect of it though, um, I think a lot of dudes would probably agree that consistency is king in the handgun arena, right? Um, could you draw your sidearm? I'm saying sidearm. So when I'm thinking of this SHTF, it doesn't have to be this way, but I'm thinking mostly drawing from like an outside the waistband, Safari Land holster, like that kind of thing, as opposed to your EDC. Although in most situations, we're probably going to want to be hiding the fact that we're armed and all that. But let's just say, could you draw your gun from your pistol belt or whatever, or even from your EDC, and with your eyes closed, draw your gun, present it, and be perfectly aligned with your sights and your dot every single time to where when you open your eyes, your pistol is boom, right there, perfectly aligned in front of you. It
Hell no,
is
I can't.
it's extremely difficult, and that's one thing I'm working on. I finally got to sub 1 second from the Safari Land draw to first shot with A zones, team A zone, hey, and then sub 1 1/4 second draw to first shot from concealment with an A zone. I mean, of course, I miss sometimes, right? But for the most part, I'm. So anyway, I say this to familiarity with a firearm is important, and I realized that I was carrying a different handgun EDC than I was carrying in my bag because usually I'll have two accessible if I need to arm somebody else or if I need to go for another gun, whatever. And then that was different from the gun on my gun belt, which is different from the gun on my nightstand. And that, so I said, you know what? Screw all this noise. I need to get consistency everywhere. And you see that with consistency with training, dudes will get like, they'll carry a Glock 19, but then they'll train with a Glock 44 in 22 LR and all that. And it's not a terrible idea, but I had said, you know what? I am going to go like as consistent as possible. And here's what I set up for pistol. Okay. So I got if you look at every single one of them, aside from one that doesn't have a red dot, which is the 19X, um, I wanted to get consistency across the board with everything. Now, a lot of people would say that's boring, that's stupid, whatever, but I was like, I'm going to try to get as consistent as possible. So I have my EDC, I have the gun on my gun belt, the gun on my nightstand, and the gun in my bag that are all 19X style, 17 size grip, 19 size muzzle with a light. Almost all of them have gun beams, which are TLR1 HL style. And I do have one that's the one that goes in the gun bag only because of the size of the holster in there that has a TLR 7 Alpha there. But they're almost all 17 size grip, 19 size muzzle with a red dot. 17 size grip, 19 size muzzle with a red dot. Same thing, 17 size grip, 19 muzzle with a red dot, light, light, light. And then this one, of course, is irons only, no red dot, but 17 size grip with a 19 muzzle with a light. And I've found I'm getting better and more consistent with my handgun work because my handguns have become more consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that with consistency and all that?
So, and that's another thing because it was mentioned before that if I go to a class, I take this gun. My EDC is this gun. I do this and I do that. Right. Consistency leads to repeatability. Right. So, again, your personal gear that you rely on, make it consistent because you're doing the same things over and over and over again. You're going to get the same results. Now, with that consistency, there's other things you got to do. Right? Try to shoot the same ammo, and sometimes that can
Mhm.
get rather expensive. But if you can catch a lick and catch opportunity to get 1,000 to 2,000 rounds of the same ammo from the same manufacturer, you're going to see that your proficiency is going to go up. You're going to get better results. You're going to feel good about your shooting because it's going to come on point. Um,
Mhm.
and with that being said, right, you have to perform some type of maintenance on your stuff. Check your batteries, right? Batteries die at the worst time. Check your springs, make sure your springs are good and all that other good stuff. With Glocks, unless you're beating the crap out of them, and I'm talking about like shooting them and shooting them and shooting them and putting very high round counts through them, they'll last
Or
a
or
while.
building them with subpar parts.
Yeah, that's we're gonna throw that one out the window. We're just gonna go and assume that everyone's using quality parts.
Yeah, or OEM.
Yeah. Check your magazines, right? Because you can,
Mhm.
change out base plates and do something the base plate don't fit. Understand like I would mark my magazines so I know that like sometimes this magazine is okay to train with or
Mhm.
to go to the range with, but this isn't going to be one of my EDC magazines because this magazine has a high propensity for not locking the slide back to the rear on the last round. Now you got a dead gun,
I
right?
don't have any of my I was gonna show some of my mags that have been marked, but that's super important too. And even just numbering them so you can say, and that's why a lot of like the mag pulls and other mags have those
Dot matrix.
yeah, the dot matrix on there. Because like if you have magazines numbered 1 through 10 or 1 through 20 or whatever, then oh, magazine number 13 always gives me problems. Chuck 13 to the side, that's a range mag. Now, magazines are absolutely consumables, right? They're like ammunition with a different shelf life. They're consumables. And to answer, I forgot whose question it was. I think it was Mark Tucka, Malka, all with red dots, all except the 19X, because I'm not going to buy a new slide or get it milled because that's just tarded. So all the
So
other ones got red dots.
so one thing I wanted to say and I thought about it, like with our medical kits and with anything, right? Know what your limitations are, right? So I'm not going to go buy a medical kit with a decompression needle in it. I don't know how to use a fucking decompression needle.
Yep.
And say again.
Oh, I said, yep, yep.
So know your limitations. Like we have a saying, and I was told this once before because I used to suffer from it. Enthusiasm doesn't equal capabilities.
Mm,
So sometimes we will fall short, and once we identify that, that's just something to go back and to train on. And you're not going to be proficient in everything, right? You're not going to be like a kick-ass CQB guy and then be able to jump behind a long gun and take 1,000-yard fucking headshot, with one fucking shot. So it's nice to aspire to that, but sometimes that's just not in the cards.
yeah.
you know um
What's
it-
the other thing, that you, put down, There's two. There's one that goes down someone's nose and goes in and gives them air.
A nasal pharynx
Yeah,
tube, you know.
yeah, one of those. I
Yeah,
don't. I've never been trained on those. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying, oh, don't carry it, because you may bump into someone else in an emergency situation that can fix a situation that's like, what do you mean you don't have a nasal,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But for the most part, I'm not rocking those because I don't know how to, use them. Also, the thing where like you um incubating where or intubating where,
Intubation tube.
yeah, where you pop open their ish and then jab
Yeah,
it down them and then you bag
yeah.
them. Like, I don't have any of that stuff, and I actually bought a kit. I was doing well, bought I traded some stuff, and I ended up getting a I love it. It is an incredible shellback plate carrier. It's like a $400 plate carrier, and it's got level 4 ceramic plates in it. It's one of my. I got a few different sets of armor. This is one of my favorite, and it's got a level 3A soft armor dangler, like the
Groin protector.
yeah, yeah. Only I'm a big dude, so basically it's a lower tummy protector. You know what I'm saying? So
Protect the fupa.
yeah, so I open up the pouch and there's a whole kit for sutras, for sutra-ing, for sewing people's wounds shut, right? And I was like, dude, I've never I've gone to a class where once they showed very very roughly and just kind of discussed it, and they showed like a quick little way of doing it, and but we also discussed other stuff. There's actually a dude, his channel is the Gray Bearded Green Beret. This dude is like the king of outdoor survival when it comes to like combat situations in like woodland or survival situation. And he showed how to, because sometimes sutras can actually increase the risk of infection. They can increase the risk of obviously scar tissue damage, all sorts of stuff like that. So he showed a way on how to do a sutra-less bandage that will, help you heal. Like, let's say you had a huge gash on your arm, and it's basically a way to do it with cordage, duct tape, and water.
Yeah,
And it was,
you're pulling the skin together,
yeah.
and also in your kits, some kits, and someone put it in there, Rhino Medical. A lot of companies make for wound care. They make sutureless wound closing kits, and then also one of the things I have to understand, um, what wounds can be closed and which ones can't. You know, and you have so much stuff. You got the wound tape, the wound packing material and everything else.
This is Skinifix, and
Yeah,
this is basically super glue for your skin. If it's a whole box of them, I may throw a couple in the giveaway stuff that we're doing.
so,
But you can't use this on everything.
yeah,
If you had a huge gash and you use that, it would continuously rip open.
yeah. And someone put in there about utilizing super glue. So back in the day, that was a thing, right? So you start talking about wound care. Um, there's one of those things about, hey, just jam a Kotex in it, right? Because the Kotex is going to expand for puncture wounds, right? And
Mhm.
it works, but the problem is you have a certain percentage of the population that will go into a toxic shock syndrome, like super glue. Super glue works; it holds the shit together. But again, that's an industrial sealant or adhesive. So it's not designed to be put into the body. So, like for superficial wounds and cuts, you might be able to get away with it. I'm not saying do it or whatever. You may be able to get away with it, but you run a risk of toxic shock syndrome, right?
Mm,
100-mile-an-hour tape or duct tape is going to pull that wound together and hold it. If you take care of it, you can utilize anything in a pinch. Someone has a sucking chest wound and you got a piece of plastic. Guess what? You can utilize that if you
mhm.
have tape, if you don't have any chest seals.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff that you can utilize, but understand your limitations because sometimes we can do more harm than good, you
Yeah.
know.
And
Um,
there's the newer like super glues and gorilla glues. A lot of them have been changed to like a solvent base that is or like a greasy, oily thing that doesn't glue skin together. So they've changed a lot of the chemical makeups. The old school super glue, man, I would say it's probably worth a shot if you've done it on yourself and are doing it on yourself. But the thing with the whole tampons in a gun wound or something like I would guess that in most cases those dudes are probably going to bleed out because if especially if you have arterial blood, first off, when we're talking about like identifying the difference between things, you must be able to identify the difference between blood and arterial blood, and it's not always going to squirt out 6 feet in
yep,
the air. And as long as you can see that this blood is brighter red, it's frothy, it's a different, it smells different, you know, like there's if you were to shove a tampon in a dude who, you know, got hit or whatever and has arterial bleeding, you need to basically take the place of you putting your finger with direct pressure
yep,
on that artery, okay? The only way for you to do that, the next best thing to you literally pushing with your finger is wrapping your finger in gauze and pushing it down there and pushing the gauze and then pushing the gauze down and then continuously pushing the gauze down to properly pack a wound. And I'm not an expert at all, but to properly pack a wound, um, and then dump super glue all over. I'm just
yeah.
kidding. I'm joking.
So one thing about that, Whiteside Tactical, they do and give classes, and they're fucking solid, man. They are legit. And they go through all that, and they'll show you, you know, how to properly identify the type of bleed it is, how to triage someone, you know, because a lot of times, if you get shot, you might have a through and through wound, right?
Mhm.
So let's take this to the nighttime where I can't see, I can't turn on the light. Do you have an IR light in your or a UV light? I'm sorry. Do you have a UV light in your kit? Because a UV light will illuminate, you know, blood and bodily fluids and stuff like that. Another thing, if you see someone get shot or whatever, they have a puncture wound, right? Let's just
Mhm.
say a puncture wound because you don't necessarily have to get shot. You can be walking around at night and fall on a piece of rebarb and shit goes south like that, you know?
Yeah.
You notice blood's coming from the mouth, and like you said, it's frothy. Well, that indicates what type of blood it is, right? Um, you man, you know, you fall in and you fuck around, excuse me, you mess around and you nick that femoral artery. You got
Mhm.
about 2 to 3 minutes to control that because they're gonna bleed out.
Yeah.
So again, when we're prepping for all this stuff, when we're you know, getting our mind for all this stuff, the first thing we always talk about, I got my gun, I got my nods, I got my plates, but do you have medical, and do you know how to properly employ, you know, your medical procedures? Do I know how to clear your airway, right? You know, you got the ABCs, airway, breathing, and I guess I'm just gonna fucking fail on the C, right? So I'm not good.
I think it's cardiovascular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like
So
that.
I don't know how to, you know, keep that person up. Do I have one of those space blankets to keep you warm? Because once you start losing blood, you're gonna get cold, you're gonna go into shock and all that other good stuff,
Yeah.
right? Can I sit you down? Can can you sit me down and calm me down? Because as soon as I get
Circulation.
yeah, circulation. As soon as I get stressed out and everything else, right? I got a good bleed. Now I'm getting stressed out. What my heart start pumping and I start, you know, losing more blood, you know.
Mhm.
Did you check to see if I had an exit wound? You know, we're walking around here, I slipped and fell and I hit a piece of rebar or whatever and shit, you know, and it's
Yeah.
going through my leg.
Mm.
Certain wounds are easier to take care of, you know.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a flesh wound. It's a fleshy part of the thigh. Hey, you're good. Walk it off.
Yeah.
You so there's just a lot of other things to think about, you know, because the only thing I'm thinking about is, you know, hitting the boogaloo with my Hawaiian shirt on.
Right? That's all I need is my long gun, my pistol, my
Shit,
plate
man.
carrier, right? That's
You
all
know
I
what I
need.
mean? Like
Yeah.
shit, you know?
I don't know. Water storage, what's that, you know?
Yeah.
Fluffy Bunny Arsenal says, "Has anyone here ever had to pack a gunshot wound, or have you yourself had a gunshot wound that had to be packed?"
I
Um,
don't live that type of life, FBA.
yeah,
No.
I know there's a few folks here that have, um, 2 suffered, uh, accidental, negligent discharges that ended up in them shooting themselves. If y'all are out there, I know you all didn't pack your own wounds and stuff, but you did, treat yourself for a moment before you sought, a trauma surgeon. Um, I I've never treated a gunshot wound. I never have been shot. I've had some interactions with knives, but when I was very young, I had a friend who I don't want to give too much information out. At a party when we were very young, a guy had an accidental discharge, which based on what happened, I would say it's highly unlikely that it was accidental. When you take a Glock 19 and you rack it under your shirt, and then you say, "You owe me money, like, bitch, pay up, or I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to kill you." And then the gun goes off and then shoots him in the sternum. This was a 15-year-old boy. He fell to the ground and he bled out and he died. None of us knew anything about any kind of treatment, any kind of um, but I mean, there was no way to help him either way. But um, absolutely nothing could have been done at that time to change that outcome. But maybe we could have kept him alive to where the trauma surgeon, could have had a chance or something. Like nothing that we do is to save the person. It's to keep them alive in the interim to get them to someone that can save them,
Get to a
right?
high level of care.
Yeah.
So here's something funny, right? Because now let's talk about blunt force trauma, right? You're in an accident, motor vehicle accident, your sternum hits the steering wheel, or someone swings a bat at you and they hit you, or you got those great level 4 plates, but someone hit you in your chest with a fucking 45-70. Some 45-70 rounds is pushing 3,600 foot-pounds at the muzzle, right? So that's going to ruin your day. Like, how do I deal with blunt force trauma? Let's say I got a punctured lung. Do I know that, once you plug up the holes and everything else, don't put that person on the back like their lungs collapsing. You roll them over to the side where the lungs collapse if you can identify it. And that sounds counterintuitive, right? Because it's like, well, I don't want that pressure on there. But if you put them on the good side, then that lung is doing more work, right? And it's going to tire out. So there's a lot of things like, do I know how to take care of a chemical burn? Like, let's just say you're in your house, right? You got
Mm,
kids or you got families, and I'm the dumbass that takes a bottle and I put bleach and ammonia together,
mm,
right? Do I know how to take care of that? Electrical burns, chemical burns. So it's not always a gunshot, a stabbing, or something like that. It can be something. It can be something as simple as someone getting stung by a bee and they have an anaphylactic shock,
yeah. Do you
right?
have EpiPens? Do you have
Yeah, that
you know,
shit happens, man.
yeah.
You know,
EpiPens for adults, AviQs for kids, keep all those things and know when they're not good anymore too.
yeah.
Usually you can hold them up to natural light, and if it's still clear at all, then it's still good. Once it starts to yellow out and discolor, then it's not good anymore. However, I would venture to bet that if somebody was dying from a reaction of a bee sting or peanut allergy or
Full
shellfish.
send, full send.
Yep, I'm gonna do whatever, I even if I gotta, pump them full of, those epinephrine penis pills at gas stations, those things, I'm do whatever I gotta do.
And
Um,
then someone talked about like food allergies. It's even this right here, right? And this is like just going back to the everyday type thing, right? Do you, depending upon where you live, do you know how to give someone a Narcan shot? You know, because that's a real in today's age. ODs, whether intentional, well, I don't think any ODs are intentional. You got a problem of proliferation of fentanyl and everything else. Does anyone carry Narcan or Ativan, to reverse that? And it may seem like we're getting into the woods on that, or deep into the weeds, but it's a possibility. It happens. Like, do I know what to do and start doing stuff? Because let's say you roll up on a motor vehicle accident, right? Like, do you know to take charge? Because everyone else thinks that everyone else is going to call the cops or take charge, but you gotta grab your sack and man up or woman up. Put your big draws on and
Yeah.
start doing stuff. Um,
Dude, peanut allergies, food allergies, like bee stings, shellfish, like all that stuff. Like a lot of people overlook that stuff. I mean, that is nearly guaranteed death, right? Like it's no joke. Like it is like nearly guaranteed death. With what was something else you mentioned that I wanted to hit on? Oh, burns.
yeah,
I thought I had it over here. I don't know where it's at, but NAR started making it's like $8. They are burn kits, and they're cool gel burn kits that you can actually put over the wounds. You can even break them out into multiple pieces, put them over the wound, and then wrap them up, and then you could continue doing whatever you got to do. Like let's say like you said, it doesn't have to always be like super high speed operator stuff. It could be anything, right? But let's just say if your gun had a huge out of battery detonation, your gun is down, boom, and your arm is torched, or you got, whatever. If you got to throw something on a burn, a $6, $7, $8, whatever it is, gel burn kit is a great thing to keep in your kit. Also, yeah, Benadryl.
yep.
Even if you don't have access to an EpiPen, Benadryl could still save the individual. Definitely Narcan. If you can have Narcan, usually you can get it for free in certain places, in certain cities. You may even get it up your nose if you're taking a nap in your car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This,
So also, one thing, right? And we're talking about this. Let's just say you're tooling around at an amusement park or at the beach, right? People get sunburns, and the one thing about burns that make them so dangerous is it exposes your skin, and you're at greater risk to get infections. And once you get that infection and everything else, whole bunch of stuff can go wrong that you may not be able to handle. Sepsis,
yeah,
it starts spreading and all this other stuff. So again, we got this preparedness mindset, and we're doing this. Everything's not always going to be about someone took
bullets.
an AK-47 round to the chest. It can be something as simple as in your environment it's not really clean, and you get a simple cut. Now it leads to infection, right? Remember, during the Civil War, we lost more people died not from gunshots and artillery, but from infection,
Yeah,
right? So, and that's something that a lot of times I overlook. Simple thing is washing your hands and doing stuff like that. Gloves, like the new hotness was those black gloves and everything else. Those are great, but at night you can't see bodily fluids on black gloves.
yeah,
So there's a lot to consider other than just a gun and plates. And going back to the plate carrier, I spoke about it briefly about the bags, right? Make sure that your plate carrier properly fits you.
yeah,
It's great to have HESCO plates and everything else, but if they don't fit you,
yeah.
you
Or if
know
they're not properly covering your vitals. So many
exactly.
people go get a plate carrier. They go get, anything from AR-500 to HESCOs, and then they load them in there and then throw it in their closet. And most people don't train in their kit, right? And look, it sucks, dude. When we were doing Evan, I'll get to your comment in just a sec, but when we were doing, so we did basic pistol, we did intermediate pistol and rifle, and then we did advanced gunfighter. When we were doing the advanced gunfighter, all of us had our plate carriers there, right? This is me, Dust, Due Knowledge, Tactical Turkeys, Rio Tactic, a bunch of those dudes. We're all training, right? And this is like we're all running at least 500 rounds through the AR, and we're all running at least 200 rounds through the pistol. It's um, setting up barriers to where it like simulates us having to get so low on the ground like a baby sleeps with their ass in the air and their face on the ground on the on the pavement, and setting up a shot to be able to shoot under a car that's 6 to 8 inches tall and be able to hit a target 40 yards away. Right, that's not easy, right? But we're all doing this stuff, and we all got our plate carriers out, and we're like, I think I may just run the gun belt on this one. I think, yeah, are you not going to wear your plate carrier? Yeah, you're not going to. Well, I'm not going to wear my plate carrier, and none of us wore our plates because look, it sucks, right? But once you have your plate carrier adjusted appropriately, and once you have your armor set up to where it actually covers your vitals, it becomes way more comfortable. I promise you. And then spend some time in it, LARP around the house, go outside, do a run, whatever you got to do. And, you'll get more comfortable with it.
Yeah. Someone, I think what the other guy was talking about, I think that's like a symptom of Lyme disease. 'Cause I read that before, and it's like it's really weird, and it's one of those things. You got so many diseases, and you have to understand what the vectors are. Whether it's insect borne, animal borne, stuff like that. You got bacteria and viruses and all other stuff, because I got like this really cool fucking filter that goes into my water bottle, and I can, sit down and drink from the fucking toilet, and it filters out,
Hmm.
all fucking bacteria. All right, that's cool, but it doesn't work against viruses.
Mm.
Right. So now you just set yourself up for a viral infection. It's nothing like dysentery. When you say,
Yeah.
"How's your day?" Shitty, literally shitty. Um,
Or like parasites or,
Parasites, stuff like that. So
yeah,
just like the basic things that, again, I got my gun, I'm stacked on ammo and everything else, but yeah, I got taken out by a simple cut, or I got taken out by, uh,
a
you know,
tick
a
or
tick or a bee
spider
sting.
bite. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've heard about this a few times recently, and Evan Budzinski said, "Dark, I got bit by a tick. Now I'm allergic to meat. It seems to be more so red meat." So I heard about this. There is some very rare type of tick. I think there may be some stuff out there about this in Lyme's disease, but I think it's actually different, where people had reported that they're bit by this tick and it makes them allergic to meat. I don't know if it's like forever, but I would look into it. It's one particular type of tick. It's like exceptionally rare, but I remember hearing about this. I saw some other videos on it. I don't know, like I'm not the end all be all, but you guys probably no more than me. Oh, dental preps are a must, bro. At least some Oragel to where you can numb the pain to get to somebody else that can help you. Otherwise, removing the tooth, dental pain will literally take you out of commission completely. And there's some other little hacks that I know some people had mentioned. I forgot what some of the stuff is, but um, if you can, if you have the ability, capability, insurance, whatever, get all the work that you need to do now. Get all the dental work, all the surgeries, all the everything that you need to do, get it done now. Just Alpha Gal Lone Star Tick. Lone Star Tick.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. The Lone Star. It has a star in its back. Dust. I just sent you. Dust. DLD. I just sent you a text
Okay.
with the name of those two diseases and everything else. But that's what it is. It's the Lone Star tick, because it has a star on its back and everything else. And then
Dang.
it's like another thing, and this might be going too deep into the woods, but hemorrhagic fevers, right? So the U.S., believe it or not, everyone's like talking about Ebola and stuff like that, but like in the Southwest in the U.S., Texas, Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, everything else, they have outbreaks of hemorrhagic fever, right? And it's spread by mouse and rat, rodent urine and droppings and
Mm,
everything else. And that's something else you need to know. So again, like you go into you seek shelter in an old warehouse, an abandoned building, and everything else, you start kicking up dust. You inhale that stuff, and that
yeah.
starts all types of respiratory stuff and everything else. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to be careful because again, the only thing I'm looking at is, I got my Daniel Defense Mark 18. All right, well that's great, man. You got taken out by a tick.
Yeah.
You know,
Or a boomer with a Mosin.
yeah. So
Um,
um
really quick, last thing, drone defense. I have one outlook on this. There's several, but one outlook on this. What's your outlook on drone defense? How could someone prepare for drone defense?
um we're talking as us as consumers, or are you talking like on a big scale?
So us just as regular civies, like
As,
with civilian drones, which are now typically used in,
yeah.
theater for
Yeah.
dropping
So
bad stuff.
so there's a company called Fordham Technologies, and they do drone and counter drone stuff. So you can go to their website and look. If you go like to the Lincoln page, they do a lot of stuff for like prisons and airports and everything else like that. And they just stopped a large drop of contraband that was being put into the prison by drones and everything else. One of the good things about drone defense is drones require batteries, right?
Yeah.
So again, you have velocities not to exceed, winds not to exceed. So if you're worried about drone defense, if it's a nice windy day, they probably can't launch the drone because they can't control it. There's a lot of standoff. So some of the more expensive drones, they
Mm,
got a greater range on them. But like
yeah.
your average drone, when you start dealing with going to buildings, right?
Hmm.
Because you know eh, you'll be able to see the drone in a building, right? Because it doesn't have its primary advantage of height, right? A lot
Hmm.
of the drones that we get, we don't get like the great cameras on them where you can do all this and do all that. So we know the frequencies that the drones operate on, right? So you can do counter drone defenses. You can have
Yeah.
jammers, right? um, and that's kind of getting fancy, but it's not too fancy. It's not out of the realm of possibility, right?
Hmm.
You can get jammers, right? The frequency jammers.
Dude,
Uh,
was it just me, or did you used to be able to get frequency jammers that jammed cell
yes, you can
radio?
still you can still get them. They're just illegal to operate. So
Dude, they
here's
used to be so easy to get though. Like, did
so
something change?
no, you can still get them. Just you have to know where to look, right? Because as a corporation, right? If I have a policy of no cellular communications in here, right? Prisons, right? So prisons, you're not supposed to have cell phones, right? So what do? They put cell phone jammers in there, right? And they put them up. A lot of buildings will have cell phone jammers in them. That's why in some buildings you get shitty reception, and it's not always because of the construction of the building. Sometimes they put active cell phone jammers in there, right?
Mm,
So you can still get them. It's just blocking out that frequency. There's a guy, I want to say he got fined something like $20,000 because he was so smooth, right? He got pissed off on his daily bus ride to work because everyone's on his cell phone being rude and obnoxious, and he would just have a portable jammer in there, right? And it
wow.
just jammed like 20 feet. So they
Yeah.
figured it out. FCC fined them. So you can get jammers and you can make your own jammers, right? Funny but true story. When the motorcade for the president goes out, like two of those vehicles are pushing cell phone jammers.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why they're pushing cell phone jammers, they're pushing electronic jammers, is because of command detonated bombs, right?
For sure. Yeah.
I can go get a drop phone, hook it up, and put it in. That was like one of the IEDs that they use a lot in Iraq and Afghanistan, primarily in Iraq. They're really easy to make because all it is just you call that cell phone number, it receives a
Yep.
signal, and it detonates. So
Mhm.
if I jam that signal, it's not going to work. That's one
Yeah.
of the active defenses that they have in large motorcades for heads of state and important people and shit like that. So you can get them. It's trying to get more expensive. You can get them in Europe, right? Finland's real fucking funny, right? You could buy them. They're not illegal to own. They're just illegal to operate.
Mm.
It's like, what the fuck, man? You know?
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
so, you know, cell phones, your drones, right? One thing about drones is they have to have height. So if you're like in a wooded area and everything else, not someone's very motivated and they got drones outfitted with thermals and everything else.
Hmm.
If you're undercover, cover trees, it's going to have a hard time seeing you. You know,
Yeah.
they're good for like when you're out in the open and stuff like that. Um,
Do you think just so my first thought is birdshot for drones to take them out of the sky. Obviously, it's limited, right?
yeah,
I know there are 12 gauge shotgun rounds that are specific for, they cast like basically a net
a net, yeah,
essentially,
yeah, yeah,
to kill the propellers and all that. And some now remember, guys, if you use those 12 gauge net drone slayer things and there's a drone with a grenade 50 feet above you and you bam clap that thing, what's it going to do next? It's going to fall, and you may end up with the drone with a live grenade right at your feet. So I don't know, if anything I would send some birdshot at it and then just run as far as I possibly could.
and one thing about stuff like that, right? With with up armored drones, the cheap man's cruise missile, right?
Mhm.
So if you're stationary, throw a net over your stuff because it's going to capture. If someone drops something on it, it's not going to detonate. Now you could have a proximity fuse on that, but again, that's now we're starting to talking about state actors with a lot of money and a lot of technology behind them. We're
Yeah.
not talking about someone that puts an improvised explosive in a mason jar and drops it, and once it breaks, then it explodes.
Yeah.
Um, it, you just have to keep your head on the swivel and be proactive. But now we're talking about carrying a whole bunch of shit,
Yeah.
right? So you have to balance that. What's the likelihood of someone that's in Pennsylvania where I'm at is rocking killer drones, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't live that life. I don't owe people like that any money and shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's out there because 10 years ago there was a video of a kid about 18, 19 years old. He took his drone and he put two Glock 19s on it
Mhm.
and he got it to fire. So it's not impossible to do that. All it takes is a little bit of motivation. And then when you start
Yeah.
talking about drones, I don't have to put a bomb on it. I can just put some chemicals in it. Shit,
Yeah.
whatever. I can put some acid in it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting burned by
Even
acid.
if you think about what they call on the inside gas, if they gas you, even if it's a fermented mixture of duty, piss, and jizz,
Oh
it's
man.
it's nothing that you want on
Yeah,
yourself. Okay.
yeah.
And
That's
that,
that, that's that prison cocktail.
yes, that's what they call gas and guards. They'll gas
Mhm.
a guard. They'll take a mixture. No joke. It'll literally be duty. And I'm saying this as clean as possible for the platform that we're currently on. Duty, tinkle, and jizz and blood and just boogers. Like, dude, the most disgusting cocktail of S you could
Yeah,
ever imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff when you start going down that rabbit hole that you can just do to show your inhumanity towards your fellow man. You
Well,
know,
I think a lot of people are My Little Pony jar, Bob. That is disgusting. That's a semen collection, just in case nobody out there knows. It just with something as simple as like, I think we'll probably, if God forbid, if we do end up in a bad situation like that, what we're probably going to end up in is a situation where a lot of people aren't having to any longer be tough guys or go fast guys doing stuff to another dude right in front of them. They're going to be able to just go send something nasty over there, and some of the toughest, some of the most go fast dudes out there could be clapped by a 13-year-old with a drone, you
Yeah.
know?
So if we look at the retaliation of Israel into Iran, allegedly they used standoff drones, hyperglide drones, right? That had a
Mm,
certain standoff distance to fire into their intended targets. So, we talked about this before, right? You can go to your local highway store that sells fireworks and get the good stuff. Right
mhm,
now, it's not a 2.75 inch Hydra rocket, but it can do just enough damage to get your attention. You
yeah,
can go online to commercial fireworks stores and get everything you need to do everything. Exactly. There you go. There you go. And
I'm
and I
just
got I
saying.
got banned from IG, and man, because I
I
asked what you use to clean your weapons with, and you showing me this stuff.
Dude, it's I mean, if anyone out there knows about the little snaky snakes,
Yes, sir.
and there's and it's perfectly lawful if someone were to take one of those e-matches, pull the plastic cap up all the way, and then put some dabs of hot glue on it, right? Well, let's just take them out. Let's take a gander, guys. If one were to take these e-matches,
Dude, hey, DLD, don't do it, man. You just got back on.
I know, right? They don't care about these. They don't even know what they are. They're spaghetti noodles. Um, if you were to take this to where the match, let's see, yeah, the match is right there, right? You slide it up all the way. You have a recess in there of like, I don't know, almost half of the space. Some of them are a little bit deeper, right? But what you could do, what some people may do, is take that and put a dab of hot glue on the bottom so it stays there, and then put black powder or stuff in there that would react to the heat of the e-match being um, basically use an RF radio frequency to ignite these. And they're not super high end, so somebody could accidentally ignite it for you with their garage door opener, right? Like you never know. But some people pack them with like black powder or other stuff, and then do another dab of hot glue over it to have like a micro blasting cap for fireworks.
Yeah.
And these can be highly effective
So here's another thing right here, right?
for fireworks.
Who's in the model rocketry?
I love model rockets.
There you go. Get a model rocket motor and look
Yeah.
at what it's made of. And speaking of that, right? Always have some instant cold packs. And
Yeah.
go and get the instant cold packs and look at the ingredients on instant cold packs.
Yeah.
I'll leave it right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You may find a little bit of pecans in them
Yeah.
and water, and
You're
you
like,
can just
hey,
whoop, take the water out, chuck it. Then you have pure calcium ammonium nitrate.
I pulled my leg. I need an instant cold pack. How
Yeah.
many you need? About a
For
dozen.
okay, for later. I don't need them right now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I made a bunch of tannerite with cold packs. You have to make sure they're the ones that actually have the
Straight
ammonium
potassium
nitrate.
nitrate and ammonium nitrate in it.
Yeah,
So another thing too, right? Someone put in there sugar and flour and everything else. Yeah, they will explode if they're in a confined space because the surface area of those molecules, the surface area is greater than that, so you get a flash fire. There's so many things out there that you can do, and um, you can set yourself up, just like iron oxide, aka rust, right?
yeah,
Um, magnesium shaving, certain shavings and everything else. If it has
mhm,
a low enough flash point and you shave it and you break it up, it has enough surface area, it ignites. And then once that one molecule ignites over here, it just ignites all the way around. But that's when you have a little bit of technical savvy, like how you aerialize it. We've all taken um, the spray stuff and everything else and burnt roaches. Like shit, I'm still
mm,
doing it. I'm
yeah.
cool.
Dude, I love airsoft for spiders and bugs and things like that.
Mhm.
But I will say, my new place for the last year and a half, I've seen like one bug my whole time here. I love it. Whatever they do, Keep doing it. Well, as we close out here, oh, and everyone else, so some of the stuff he's talking about, JoVa's
Yeah,
talking about,
Barton
like
Fink, you know it. You know the deal, Barton Fink.
with 4-inch PVC
Yeah.
tubes and a sugar
So
compound. Yep.
so even let's look at like the riots they had after the riot, the George Floyd stuff and everything else, right? They were
Mhm.
taking consumer grade off the shelf fireworks,
Yep.
right? Little 3-inch mortars and everything else, right?
Yep.
So instead of launching them straight up in the air, you launch them at people,
Yep.
right? That's a real nice concussion grenade, flashbang grenade. It's gonna fuck your day up.
And it's bad, and you should not ever
Yeah,
do that because they're not anti-personnel items.
no,
That would
they're
make the
just for
destructive
entertainment,
device. Yep.
just for
But
entertainment.
we're discussing what other bad guys did, and there are a lot of ways to make an item like that pack tight with a lift charge and a secondary charge, and also even 37 millimeter, dude. The stuff that 37 millimeter can do, if you guys have seen some of the shorts that I posted on these 37 millimeter launchers, they're pretty insane. And if rules and laws didn't exist, if I was in a world where laws didn't matter, I could cook up some nasty stuff to shoot out of those, and I wouldn't need a rifle barrel with 40 millimeter grenades. I could just use
Yep.
essentially glorified fireworks.
And also think about the ex prime minister from Japan. He got clapped with a piece of PVC pipe and a two by
Mhm.
four.
Yep, yep,
So
facts. With electric detonation, electric
yep,
trigger detonation.
yep. So you know
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff out there that can get you clapped, and there's always ways to counter it. And
Mhm.
again, I'm just thinking about grabbing a rifle, a pistol, my plates, and but just start at the basics. Understand first aid, self aid, buddy aid, understand some of the threats in your area. Because if you have to walk out into the woods, like who wants to get bit by a snake? You
Yep.
got scorpions and stuff like that. Um,
And know your area too,
yeah,
right? Like if you know that snakes are a considerable threat in your area, then plan appropriately. If you know that, whatever, crocodiles or every area is gonna have different stuff. My number one foe in this area is blue and purple haired crazy libtards. Um, so I mean that's probably the worst thing I have to go up against. But the craziest thing is that now, like, nowadays Antifa is rolling around in full kit, bro.
yeah,
Like ops core helmets, plate carriers, long guns, and pistols. Like I was impressed when I was seeing those dudes, but those are also some actors that are sponsored by certain
certain
outfits.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, get a good compass because if you have to
Yep.
walk, you have to drive somewhere. There's a difference between going due south and going west for 50 miles.
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
Um,
very true.
yeah. So
Compass is vital. There are a lot of things where I say like, "Oh, that's mandatory. That's mandatory." Like a compass is absolutely mandatory, and not just the compass on your smartwatch, right? Like an actual compass, and also other ways to make like little fuel cells. You could take cotton balls, soak them in Vaseline, and then put them in a small little piece of aluminum foil, fold it up like crazy. And then once you got it to like a little 1 inch by 1 inch or 2 inch by 2 inch, fold it up square. You could take a knife, right? Let's say you take a knife and you cut an X in the foil, and then peel back the little you know triangles from the X's that you cut. Then you take a lighter match or some type of, ferro rod, something, and light it. That thing will be a fuel source for hours,
yeah,
and it could
yeah,
be a fuel source, light source. You could boil water with a
yeah.
couple of them.
It's a jet stove. It's essentially
Hmm.
a jet stove.
Yep.
And same concept with taking an empty tin can, punching holes in it because you got the air going in, and so
Yep.
there's a lot of
Yep.
field craft you can do, and again, if you have to do stuff, it's one of those things to where it's not all about I got 20,000 rounds stacked and I got you know 18 magazines per gun and all these other people and everything else because You have to eat, you have to dry your feet, change your socks, and
Yeah.
do all that stuff to take care of you, and to get it out. And then just like understand some basic chemistry, like so people in there talking about MacGyver. Hey, some of that shit's fucking real. Understand that
Yeah.
with dead batteries, you can cut them open and take the lithium sheets out of them, and you can utilize that to start fires and stuff like that. Understand you can start a fire by shorting out a battery with a
Yeah.
piece of wire. Because we all got cell phone charging cables and everything else. So I can use that with the dryer lint, a little bit of Vaseline, and start a fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once you got heat, you got warmth, you start to feel better. Then you go out get some
Yeah.
food. It's like, all right, I can rock out for another day.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
Especially being able to boil water that maybe wasn't clean before, or also like if you wash up
Nah, like the Scott, what you know about that, man? What you know about that shake and bake?
the Gatorade bottle shake and bake meth.
Hell yeah.
You can also, like, if you were to wash up on the shore of a beach and like just be totally out of it, not know what's going on, but if you don't intake water soon, you're gonna be screwed. And a lot of people say, but you can go 3 days without water. Yeah, go a day without water in the sun while you're physically exerting yourself. You're gonna be worthless after a day and a half.
And
Um,
speaking on that, man, yeah, you can, but as Americans right here, right now, we're not conditioned to do that shit because I'm ready to go up, I'm ready to jump in my car and going to the gas station and get something to eat. I'm ready to go to Burger King or whatever and get. So I'm not conditioned not to miss a meal.
yeah,
I'm not conditioned not to have my lights on. I'm not conditioned to go dig a slit trench and take a shit.
yeah,
I'm going to go to my bathroom and sit down on my nice, comfy toilet. So we're just not conditioned for that.
yeah. Yeah, stock wet wipes too, y'all. All right. And if when you're packing your kit up, and if you're actually packing up like a ruck, please know that you can take toilet paper and get the best, most comfy kind of toilet paper you want. Okay, if you take it off the roll and fold it back up, you can have an entire roll of toilet paper that's like that thick. Like it's super small. Well, once you remove the roll. um, the other thing I was going to say, oh, so a solar still. So if you have two bottles like this and you somehow affix them together, tape them together, and you cut, either a hole if you have to affix them by the caps and you cut holes in there, or if you just have them affixed by like tape or whatever, you could take literal water from the ocean, okay? And you could take salt water, whatever kind of water you have, right? And then affix the second empty bottle uh, to it, and then angle it up, prop it up in the sun. The sun is going to hit the salt water or whatever non-clean water, right? And have this angled high enough to where it starts to collect water in this reservoir when it's getting hit by the sun and it's evaporating. It's going to evaporate up into this, and it's going to come down, and you're going to start to notice that there's water in there, right? I don't know if you can see that. There's water in there, and then it will be captured in this as a reservoir. That's called a solar still. You can make them really easily, really simply. And yeah, I know it's not a big deal, but I'm talking about with trash. You could make like 10 of them and have at least enough water to survive to get to
Yeah.
another location.
It's just like the principles of the still. You heat up the water, it bounces off, it condenses, and then it forms water. It's just like you can pull water out of the air, like literally. If you got the right stuff, it goes back to condensation, and now you got a collection vessel.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's
You,
not it's not like science fiction or anything else. It just takes a little bit of time to research it and to practice it and everything else.
Yeah, try it, do it, get I'm not saying get stranded in the desert or anything, but like give some stuff a try, and just kind of practice it. And, knowing as many of these little things as possible could literally save lives, not just your own. And also know that a still, if you know how to build a still, you can make obviously
Funny.
water, you can make booze, you can make gasoline. Literally, if you can make a still, you can take plastic garbage, because plastic is made with crude oil, and you can cook it through a process called pyrolysis and make gasoline, kerosene, diesel. There's so many ways that a still can pump out. Also, you could cut down a tree, process a tree, and make trinitrile toluene, TNT. There's everything that you need. I've showed my tattoo a million times on the inside of my bicep. It says the Lord will provide. God has given you everything that you need to make whatever you need. Water falls from the sky, food grows from the ground. It's just unfortunately people in control that want power and control, want to take everything from you and charge you for everything. So, anyway, that's all my thing. But in closing, let's wrap it up. Anything else you want to hit on before we bounce?
No, no, no. And like I said, if anyone has any questions, just reach out to DLD, and I'll go back and fact check it, and I'll get the information. I sent you the link to the NIJ for the body armor and everything else, and you
Appreciate
can
that.
look and see what's been approved by NIJ to meet those standards. And just because something hasn't been NIJ approved doesn't mean it's not good, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
I'm
and
curious about what the next year is going to bring as far as body armor and body armor ratings and how that's changing.
yeah, so I want to say they're going to push that out in like June of 2025. So because they realize that, the bullet technology has advanced a lot faster and quicker than, 1,300 foot per second 9 millimeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just stay prepared, keep in contact with each other, share the information, because information is, information is power.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically currency.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you being willing to come on. For everyone out there, I originally had LARP Readers Anonymous set up to come on, but he unfortunately his wife got sick. He had to take on all three kiddos and put them down. And I hit up JoVa and I was like, "Yo, you want to come on?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll be there 30 minutes." And then I kept him backstage for 20 minutes waiting. My bad.
Hey man, it's no problem. I'm just happy that people can see my comments now. No,
Oh man, we'll figure it out.
hey, no, that's not an issue, man. If I got something to say, I know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that, man. All right, well, for everyone out there, make sure you stay as safe and prepared as possible. We never know what's coming, what it may be, but we know that there may be a point in our lives where we have to, um, use some of these skills that we're talking about. And I hope we never have to actually escalate to real, like kinetic conflict, but we never know. We never know what's going on, and it seems so often that the people in control, that they want to push others to commit violence. And I would encourage all of you guys to stay as peaceful as possible, stay as free as possible, and yeah, just get right with God, get right with your family, and get very good with your tools and expand your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and thanks to everyone that stayed with us.
Yeah, hell yeah, you guys are awesome. We still got 50 people in here, and it's crazy that y'all come and hang out with us for this long. We're at over 3 hours. But in closing, I'll say this, guys. I always tell y'all, obviously get right with your families, get right with God. We never know when the end may be coming, and at that point, when you hear the sound of those trumpets echo through the sky, it may be too late to be like, "Oh shit, it's real. I'm sorry, I do believe in you." Right? Like, get right with God right now. If you don't believe that God is real, use the I would say the best evidence that God exists, that God created you, which is creation itself. Okay, just go walk outside, go look at the ground, the sky, the birds. Go look, how could this all exist without an incredible creator? And all glory goes to him. Anyway, as we close, guys, remember for us as individuals, as men, it's important that we stand up and take a stand for what we believe in. And sometimes we do need to be those, tough warriors that need to take a stand when other people won't. Okay, and men in this country have become so soft and so passive. It's important that we stick to our guns and stick to what we believe in. And some of the ways that I do that personally is I've created rules for myself. Some of those rules I like to share with you guys, which is rule number 1 is to be kind. It's so important that we're kind in everything that we do. That brief interaction that you have with somebody could have a massive impact on their life. So just be kind. Rule number 2 is to live a life of care, compassion, contribution, give to others. When you bless others, you become blessed, because a hand that's open to give is open to receive. And rule number 3, because we know the only way for us to defeat evil is with good men and women skilled in violence. Make sure that you're becoming as highly skilled in violence as you possibly can be, and be safe, be dangerous, and keep that thing on you. And with that, usually I would just close, but I want to say this too. I want to show some love to the companies that support us. Gideon has been awesome. Gideon has sent another red dot to me, the judge for the P365 build, or assembly, whatever. That's been awesome. If you go to the description, you can click the Gideon link, use code that one's code Glowies, and you get 10% off and free shipping. Also, with Goombeam, literally the best white and blue and green and red lights in the business. These are hands down the best lights you can get for the best price. Less than the cost of Streamlight, and the performance is light years beyond what some of those other companies are. Also, Tack Knives. Tack Knives has been a huge supporter. And I was playing with this other one. There we go. There's another one. These blades have been awesome. If you use code DARK, you get 20% off. So some of these blades that are like this one's like $150. You get 20% off of that is a big chunk. So they got cheap ones on there too. They got knives that are like, 20, 30, $40, which 20% off is also a big chunk of that too. So give them some support, give them some love. Also, AR-15 takedown tool, fattack.com. All these companies that support us, they are the homies. So support them, and I appreciate y'all supporting us. And with that, we're out of here. Anything else, JoVa?
No, I got it. Hey, again, thanks for having me on. Thanks, everyone, for the questions and interaction.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Be easy.
This shit's gonna blow up.
No, it won't blow.
All right, for sure.
Always love that one. Good night, guys.